better? Is that out of both ears?
And how is this? Please let us know in the chat, and hopefully we have this issue solved.
Good, good. Well, sorry about that, but we did manage to get it fixed. So we do have some exciting round ones to get into. Let's get everything already started. So our first round one pairings, obviously 16 people, tons of different decks we're going to see. There's no defined meta as of yet. But our first matchup is going to be one of the semifinalists or actually one of the finalists from last week's test event, Endozoa, versus one of the more well-known Mythgard players, Acemartinez, on a deck that he calls Blue Desert.
I'm excited to see this game.
Yeah, no, I am too as well. This is, something that we were really excited to see when the brackets went up. Endo is a phenomenal player, but so is Ace. I think this is going to be a great round one.
Yeah, I like the look of both decks. I think the matchup itself is going to be good, and I think we know both of these people well enough to know they will be playing well.
Yeah.
And we should see an awesome match one.
Yeah, this should be great. All right, let's queue them up. Let them know that they are all good to go, and then we'll get in there once they are free. Now,
and
Noah,
it looks like they have begun.
All right, let's get...
Oh, they have not. Ace is in a game against someone else. Give me just a moment to get in touch with them.
It's all good. Some tech issues sorted out. I want to thank you guys for, supporting this. Obviously, there's tons of support from, Rhino, our sponsor, Ink Gaming. We're happy to be working on this for you guys, and we're really excited to see this develop over the course of, the next few weeks. We do have some exciting announcements. Later on in the stream, we're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be announcing next week's times for the tournament, and we should be having some fun. So let's see. Ace has exited his game, and we will be jumping in.
Some slight miscommunication, it looks like. That's the theme of the day.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into round one, game one, Ace Endozoa.
This should be good. So Ace is going to begin with a Dune Cat coming down.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Dune Cat? This is something we didn't see last week.
Well, Dune Cat's great because it does leave behind a desert. The 2-1 stats for one, I guess if it's on the field for more than one turn, it's going to be able to do some damage, which is always good. But I think its primary effect is obviously the demise, leaving a desert.
And we do now see the
Dust
Devil come down.
Automatically places the desert. 3-1. Same. That's going to be my same opinion. It's a 3-1. It's going to be able to do some damage if Endozoa doesn't deal with it. But in dire
and
mid-range,
the ignition.
Yeah, in dire mid-range, I would be surprised.
Yeah, I don't expect to see many X1 stick against Endozoa's deck.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like something that was going to be something that could be dealt with. Now, I like the fact that Acemartinez is playing Infuse. I think that's spicy. When we see most decks playing Smite, yeah, I think it's something unique. And in Blue Desert, I can definitely see it being more useful. Yeah,
it's a minion heavy deck.
Mm-hmm.
And against matchups that will also be minion heavy, I tend to like Infuse as opposed to the Smite, because although the damage to face is nice, if you cannot get past the opposing minions, you just won't win the game. If Ace ends up against some kind of token-like matchup, that Infuse is going to help. And we also saw less decks this week, depending on few minions, on low minion counts, than we did last week. So it looks like the call to take Infuse has paid off, as it should be live quite a bit this week.
Yeah. Now we're going to see that Dust Devil kind of shut down the Muse. Obviously, Muse has a great, awaken effect, but past that, it's just going to be a almost even trade here for a card that honestly is, I would say, less valuable. I'd probably want to keep my Muse on the field instead of trading with a Dust Devil,
Yeah, I could see that. Now, we do see the Elemental has come down, so is the Calliope Muse again. But this Elemental coming down off of Ace's path is nice to see, because if I'm not mistaken, Ace is one of only 2 people on this path this week.
Yeah, I believe so.
It definitely hasn't seen much play yet between last week's test event and this week, so I want to see how well it does, and see if, as we move on week to week, the path selection kind of widens out amongst the choices a bit.
Yeah, no, and I can speak from personal experience. Fires of Creation has done me dirty over the last couple days. There's a deck that has been running around that I just am having trouble with. I'm not able to get past it, and it really uses Fires of Creation to kind of get there. We see Endo also agreeing essentially that they do not want to lose their Muse. They decided to ignition that Dust Devil a couple turns ago, and now we just got 6 being dealt to face if Ace can't do anything.
Oh, and the Blackened Jotun comes down. That is a big minion.
Yep, that's a big absolute minion right there. All right, burning the Ice Spike.
Do you think
into the Earth
slide?
Slide. All right.
Follow-up. That's a good play. I was initially thinking that maybe slamming the Elemental into the Jotun and then Ice Spiking it would have been the way to go. But seeing the slide come down now, this is big.
And that's why I absolutely love the way that we spectate in Mythgard. Not being able to see the player's hands, not being able to make those prejudgment of, well, this is what I would do. I think it adds an entirely different flavor to card games that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I like the edge of my seat aspect of this as we do this.
Exactly. And Earthslide, I mean, come on, let's talk about a more exciting card to come down. You never know what's going to happen. Carefully
Looks
thought
like
out
we
turns
may
here.
be waiting now. Is Ace deciding if they have anything else to do? I don't think they do. I don't know what's happening.
Carefully thought out turns.
In the meantime, can we talk about the lovely animation added to the field this week?
Oh, yeah. St. Patrick's Day 4-leaf clover. Fantastic.
It's looking good. You guys will note that we have disabled sound effects this week, because as we all know by now, the chiming of the bell is a bit much at the moment, and we didn't want it to fatigue those of you watching. So we do have sound with music, but the sound effects themselves have been shut off.
Yeah, and, Rhino's already made a statement that they will be addressing that, as it was not properly what they intended. So next week, sound will be back, and everybody, from what I've seen in the Discord, has said, hey, we have to play with mute on, so it will be addressed. I'm not really sure.
This said Endozoa is done fighting. We may have just had a bug that we didn't see what happened to that game.
Yeah, yes. We might have had a spectating bug.
We will find out who won that game and update the info One thing also to note is we did have a ban this week due to a bug. Would you like to fill us in on that some about what had happened and why we've taken the stance we have about banning things?
We did have Mistwalker get banned due to a member of the community, Manted Man, discovering a bug that was not intended, not planned, as we jump into game 2. Endozoa is up 1. Essentially, it's really abusable. You could give one minion infinite actions, and you could sort through your entire deck and kind of plan what you have on top. In a card game not virtual, I don't think it's that abusable, but for a collectible card game, absolutely almost unplayable to deal with. So
it depends a little bit. In this specific case, Gamma Yun does actually say you can only use it once.
Mm-hmm.
So even in a tabletop game, that was still unintended.
Yep.
Now, if Gamma Yun did not have that one-time limitation, in a tabletop game, you can just say, I'd like to do X actions Y amount of times, and that's fine. But Gamma Yun actually is only supposed to be able to be used one time.
Yep. That would make sense. I just think, you could let the Johnny out a little bit, Let's have stuff like that. But obviously, for time's sake, we do have some people that don't like going into 60-minute games. But we might actually see that in this tournament with one player, Burn the Sky, playing in a very, very time-consuming deck. It
looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we see a normal start here from Ace, making a desert, using Fires of Creation to kind of establish a board. And then opposite, pretty standard start from Endozoa, just clearing the field and moving on. Now we do see Ace's the Singing Stone coming down. That's... How do you feel about that artifact, Noah? Do you think that that's at the accurate power level, or do you think it should cost more?
I think it's okay as is, because it is dependent on having not only the enchantments in play, but the minions to go on them. And it is not like we have a lack of ways to deal with enchantments at the moment. I feel it's actually in a good spot, and it's something I'm hoping we see pick up play as time goes on, because I like that it gives a unique aspect to it's the type of effect that cannot be duplicated easily outside of this game, and I like showcasing those types of things.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Obviously, as somebody that plays an Earthslide deck myself, I'm a big fan, but
that's a biased opinion.
Yeah, that's what we'd call a biased opinion. I do kind of agree with the fact that obviously dealing with the enchantments. Oh, the Feast from Endo.
And the Bolt to follow up. Endo is in a good spot at the moment.
I think any deck where you're just allowed to see 4 new cards is good, in my opinion. I think Dyer's in a really good position in this matchup, but it really depends on if Ace can flood the field. I mean, you only have so many removal spells, and having a creature like Thane come down that can fully heal whenever an enemy minion dies is really big. Not being able to just whittle away at that life.
Hekate's wheel comes down.
Oh no, that's the exact opposite.
How do you feel about Hekate's wheel?
I think it's at an accurate power level. I mean, we were just talking about different ways that you could deal with enchantments, and wheel immediately comes to mind. It's, for what it is, it does what it does well. I think giving the occupying minion ward is a little bit much, and pretty abusable, but I don't know. How do you feel?
I like that aspect of it, The one thing I feel maybe Hekate's Wheel does a little too well
Uh-huh.
is that it still shuts off the opposing enchantments while it is unoccupied. Most enchantments we see tend to have the conditional effects of while this is occupied, do X. Kind of Loki's Veil comes to mind.
Yeah.
We'll most likely end up seeing that at least a couple times today as well. And I feel like giving such a good ability to the minion that does occupy it should also kind of maybe offset with only being active while occupied. But I don't think it's so bad that it needs to be changed. I don't think it has to be changed. I think it's okay as is, but it is a change I would like to see just because it kind of falls inconsistently with things like Loki's Veil.
Yeah, no, I could definitely agree on that aspect as well. Now, the art, though.
Beautiful.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
stunning.
It's insane. I think if we ever are lucky enough to get some sort of, I guess we'd call it a foiling or premium, something like that, having some crazy movement in the art, I think Hekate's Wheel would just look phenomenal.
Yes.
Now, are we experiencing the same bug, or
I will go check. You stay put.
Yeah. Now let's see here. Obviously, we're just kind of waiting around, but
Yes, it looks like we have indeed found that bug again.
Oh,
So
man.
we apologize that we've left you looking at nothing. Go ahead and jump out and get back in, and we will get back into what's actually going on in this game,
that's
which
interesting.
will see us actually seeing the Loki's Veil we just mentioned a moment ago, as Endozoa now has one in play and occupied, and it looks like it is disabling both Singing Stones.
So that is something that we're going to definitely have to watch out if we don't see some action
no.
every 10. Oh no.
Oh, I don't think Ace noticed that
The armor.
the bolt was not going to
Been-
deal the lethal to that minion.
Been there myself, Ace. That is a very popular clip going around the community. So don't worry. We've all been there. Now, it might have just been for the draw. We also don't know. It could have simply been for the draw. But
They could have been cycling.
Yeah, we did just see 8, 10 being dealt, 2 turn clock at this point. 1 turn clock.
Yes,
at
Smite
this
makes
point.
it lethal.
Yep.
That will help. Oh,
and
so
the
will
Earth Slide coming down
Yes.
definitely will help as well. And I believe we are about to see a follow-through finish here. Oh, the Cataclysm for lethal. Endozoa 2-0 against Acemartinez.
Okay, so Endozoa takes that match. Who do we want to jump on with next? It looks like we still have some games going on.
Who do we currently have available?
Including one that I actually wanted to see a little while ago. So we may jump in with Maleficia and Jock.
All right, let's jump into that.
To give you a quick update, Maleficia's deck and Jock's deck will be pulled up just quickly so you can take a small glance at them as we get caught up into this game. And we will find out who is in the lead in this matchup.
I will pull those up in between next round, or in between next game. If there is a game 3. That is, in fact, some big units.
Oh, and we do see the Gamma Yun. So Maleficia is playing the Gamma Yun. We'll have to find out if Maleficia's deck was affected by the ban that was issued this week.
That is a possibility. You know, we might have been intended to play something and then swapped it out. but I don't feel like it was a really well-known combo, if you will, previous to a couple days ago. Last night even.
Issued the ban within about 10 minutes of the bug being found.
Yeah.
And it looks like Maleficia is up 1-0 in this match.
Okay.
So Maleficia looking in a likely position to go ahead and take this one as well, which would make that one also a 2-0, and we would have to see who is still playing to see who we could put on next. But we will see. Hopefully Jock is able to make a comeback, and we get quite a bit of time spent watching these two.
Yeah. Now, Jock is playing, a pure Canines build. Some sort of Canines tribal deck that they've been working on as they venture in a little bit more into the game. And I believe we are seeing the concession.
Yeah, we do see the Sons of the Pack in Jock's hand. Not likely to make too much of an impact in this game state.
Yeah. It's not...
Will we see Maleficia push the damage with the Smite? It does not look like it.
No.
Instead, choosing to play the Volkov Heavy.
Yeah. Pretty much confirming the lethal next turn one way or another. Especially because I believe Gamayun does have Agile, so it's going to be able to just go whichever way it wants.
And the Volkov Heavy also would be able to get in.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that potentially could happen, I don't have Jock's list pulled up, and even that would still end up being lethal, but it would be a fun way to see the lethal, is if Sons of the Pack went back to the deck and a Cataclysm was cast. But that is not what's happening.
Yep. We're going to see a stand being made.
Jock will not have...
With Winterwolf. Will not have enough to actually...
Will not have enough mana to cast the Sons of the Pack.
Yep.
And this should just be the game.
Yep.
Yeah, the attack with the Agile and the Smite means that even the Sons of the Pack being able to come down would not have stopped the lethal in this situation. I believe that is 2-0 Maleficia.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Games that we still have going.
Toon's game is... That match is 1-1, and they've just begun the last game.
Okay, let's jump.
So we will jump in and give you that matchup as well.
Being able to jump into multiple games is honestly pretty fantastic. I really like the pace of the games that we're seeing, and in general with Mythgard, I never feel that I'm taking too long to play a couple games. So that's a little bit more refreshing for me. I'm used to spending a whole lot of time on card games, but
Toon's deck is something we didn't see come up last week, and he has spent a lot of time testing this week. He's been quite vocal about it, even in some of the chats.
Yeah.
This is a bounce deck, if you will, in that one of the big ways of actually taking the opposing minions out is just keeping them in the hand. But Toon has also found ways that even just putting them in hand, they can come down again, and Toon will still be in an okay position to look to win the game. Yeah. So I want to see how this plays out against a deck that seems to have somewhat of a low minion count.
Yeah.
Because Toon accounted to deal with such a style of play in deck building this week.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot from Toon over these last couple weeks since Toon begun playing the game. But one of the more well-known veterans of Mythgard, if you will, Charmer, this matchup's really exciting for me.
Yeah, this one was almost what I wanted to showcase. Oh,
yeah. Wow. Oh no.
And just like that, Toon has had a nasty case of mad cow disease, and his field is now empty.
Magmatar coming down, clearing 3 lanes. Raid the Tombs going out. Luckily, Toon's path kind of helps for situations like that. Toon deciding to
Yes.
go wide instead to avoid the rampaging Magmatar.
That is
Stretcher
one
coming
unhappy
down.
boy.
Stretcher coming down.
Now, how do you
Charmer.
feel about making this move to block as opposed to just putting in the damage?
I feel that it's risky, you know, with a deck like Valkyries. You never know; they could always buff it in some way, and it would just be an uneven trade. But obviously, they're
Paid off this time.
Yeah, paid off.
That's good to see.
Another Valkyrie tough coming down. Toon again going wide, keeping the Born Agains open for business and being able to just deal 2. Let's see. Charmer's got almost a full grip over there. So this should be interesting.
Vicious Cycle goes back to the deck. I'm a big fan of Vicious Cycle.
Yeah, Vicious Cycle's art's fantastic. The card performs fantastic.
It is one of the few non-damage based kill spells that I've seen. And I like that they've been kept in check, but that the ones we do have feel impactful.
Yeah.
Howling Abyssal coming down. Do you think, as Toon, you would attack into this Howling Abyssal and just get it out of the way? Oh! Wow. So Toon instead opting to just slide it to the left.
Marching orders coming down. Just saying, get out of my way. Howling Abyssal, that's fantastic. Putting Charmer on a 2-turn clock, essentially. Leaving Toon open to another Magmatar if that's available, but
White Cadejo is going back.
Second White Cadejo coming down.
Yeah, the second Cadejo.
Wonder
That's
Drug
good.
coming out. Gaining 4.
This will slow down that clock a lot now. Toon looking to dig with Bolt. That's
Even
a
trade,
good heads-up play. Taking advantage of the season change to go ahead and get the kill. We see some nice plays as this plays out. It's not as one-sided as it looked like it may have been just a minute ago when Toon was on that 2-attack clock. We now see
a second stretcher
in fact,
coming down.
Toon being behind on life total now even.
Yep. Second stretcher coming down. I'm going to have to throw that in there to clear. Scout
back to deck. So Toon has 5 damage on field. Oh, this could be...
Sidecar coming down. Avenging Alpha.
Wow. Toon putting in a lot of unexpected damage.
Yep. The sidecar
be
there, yeah, really
deciding.
Yep. Sidecar there was really, really big, impactful.
And we see the Howling Abyssal attack.
The extract life, putting Charmer back at 8.
Back some life.
Toon dropping down to 8.
Needs to find 1 damage.
1 point of damage. Sidecar
and
coming
he top
in.
decked it.
Sidecar coming in for lethal off the top deck. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Toon takes the match 2-1, I believe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That was a good top deck. Toon choosing not to show the lethal until the last minute, building the suspense. Something that I imagine was done because of the way spectating functions. Toon knew that they could conceal the lethal until the last minute.
Oh, man. Toon, what a fantastic game. I believe that's all from our round 1. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Right.
Let me double check.
We do have some interesting stats to bring up, but let's make sure that we don't have any other games going on currently. I believe we do have Burn and SmoothOperator still playing.
Okay, let's jump in on that and we'll find out the game count. We'll be showing you as much as we can of these games.
All right, and we do see one of the longer decks that we were talking about with Burn playing the Serpent-based deck. Serpent Den already out. Thane coming down. I think SmoothOperator's just trying to rush as fast as possible.
I think that's a good idea, knowing that the opponent's deck is designed to extend the game as long as possible. As the game goes on, any advantage Smooth may have had is going to dwindle down some. And I think they know that and want to hope to close the game out as quickly as possible. But a 6/6 tends to stop that until it is banished, stopping its demise ability.
Yeah.
And we did find out Smooth is down 1-0 at the moment in this matchup. So we'll get that updated as quickly as we can.
You know, that Jones going to be putting in work. I think Burn might have to throw something in front of it. It looks like they're trying to move the snakes over. But
how do you feel about choosing to block out that enchantment this time, though, by doing this? I think the goal is to get one snake past, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and the enchantment just got cleared anyways with the Magnetar. We're looking
so that's going to pay off.
Yeah, we're looking at a 11-point swing next turn. Well, 13 with the smite. It's coming down to dire rush here, to be honest.
We likely
the board clear puts.
No, if I'm not mistaken, this deck is actually designed to essentially loop that spell in the end game and continue wiping the field.
Oh, Mr. Snuggles coming down.
Snuggles wants a hug. Is he gonna get it?
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. You know, the fragile one that Snuggles has right now, not really that
I don't think it's that impactful.
Yeah,
at this point.
It's not really that impactful.
It could be. We could see a couple ice spikes.
Yeah.
In fact, 2 ice spikes and then attacking with the snake would do it. Although the snake no, it can't attack it. But it would be able to move and still soak the block.
And we're just gonna see another board clear. Just deciding not to deal with it. Fantastic. Another Joan coming down.
The big minions just not stopping.
Yeah.
As we continue to see. And now they've chosen to play off of the temple. The den, excuse me. So they've chosen... Runesinger coming down. Oh.
A ton of abilities for a fantastic card, obviously. Only being able to see one of them in your deck at a time is, I think, fair. Even well-designed, however you want to put it. I couldn't imagine in a game like Mythgard being able to have multiple Bragi Runesingers. I just don't think it would be fair.
Small deck size and big hand size lend themselves to high likelihood
and
of seeing things you play multiples of opening hand.
We
do see the Ignition misplayed.
Yeah, we do see the Ignition hitting a warded Bragi Runesinger, not dealing any damage at all due to ward. But we did see Smooth acknowledge it with the oops.
The question now, though, is does that mean Smooth has an Ice Spike in hand? Was the plan to Ignition Ice Spike to kill it? Because they had the same attack anyway.
Mm-hmm. I would read
My
that
guess is
line.
that Smooth is holding an Ice Spike.
Yeah, I would read that line probably as well. But especially in Dire, yeah, that seems like that probably would have been the plan. But it kind of depends. Yep, there's the Ice Spike coming
And we
down.
do see the Ice Spike.
We're going to see the trade there for the 6-3. 2 snakes against the world. Well,
and a Duskwing Angel.
Yeah, and a Duskwing Angel. If that goes unchecked, Bolt from the blue. 1 damage, Wonder Drug, gain 4. Burns just prolonging this game.
Yeah, just looking to extend this as long as possible. They know they have inevitability in the late game, so if they can get to that late game, they should be okay.
Yeah, if they can get there, that's what really matters. Now, Duskwing
I like that
Angel.
attack.
Yeah, I do too.
As opposed to moving it and then moving the next snake anyway, because this snake, they choose not to move it off and just gonna let the Duskwing Angel hit.
Yep. Wheel
and
coming
Hekate's
down.
Wheel.
Yep. I think in any deck that's running, red, you have to play wheel. It's just it's such an impactful card against most of the field that you're gonna see, especially in like a 16-person tournament. You're gonna run into it once where Hekate's Wheel is very, very useful. I think you have to play it. So I'm not.
It also
surprised
makes
to
the
see
field look beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
it
a
does.
plus.
Yeah, exactly. Double Duskwing Angel, Thunderclap coming down, trading into the Duskwing Angel, the Rune
and
of
the
Denial,
Hekate's Wheel is
clearing
gone.
the wheel. Oh,
Just having all of the outs.
yep, just everything.
And again, we see this play begin with an empty field. This is becoming quite common.
Yep.
Going to continue
Healing
gaining
cycle,
life.
Yeah.
Keep digging down to the next inevitable field wipe.
Raid the tombs.
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. And the Yahui comes down.
Oh, yeah. The Thunderclap. Ignition.
Giving the opponent a taste of what they just had dealt to themselves as well. But that's okay because we'll just continue seeing snakes flood this field.
Yep. Especially at full grip. I mean, Burns got a fantastic deck. I wouldn't be surprised that, 4 or 5 of these 7 cards are in some way very useful for this exact situation that they are trying to purposely bring in.
Such as the Magnus.
Yep, Magnus coming down.
Do we see an Ice Spike to follow? That would be
Awaken
big,
Bolt.
as then the Magnus would not be damaged in this combat, possibly.
Yeah.
Because now attack and bolt, but we see the Pact instead, just as good.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. You have to clear. Try to get as much damage in as possible. Wings coming down for the rush.
Down to 11 life. This is a lot of
9
damage that's been
that turn. Yeah.
put in.
Yeah, if we see another turn like that, it might be Bird might be in a bad place. But I mean, being at full grip, it's
We do see the
Ice
Ice
Spike.
Spike.
Valkyrie Enforcer.
We'll just be bouncing,
Yep.
laning off the snakes. Now, how do you feel about the snake that moved to the left? Do you feel that one you would have attacked with that in that position?
No, I don't think so. I think you want to get them. You just want to spread them out as far as possible. You want to flood the board because the last thing you want to do is attack there and then not being able to move your snake until next turn. I think getting the double damage in now and then being able to just pivot to the left because that's probably where you're going to want to go.
Do you also feel it may be an indication that they do not have a second den in hand at the moment? Because you tend to want to space them out a little bit. And as the minions laid out, assuming nothing had happened to them, they didn't have a good place to put the den in this situation.
Yeah.
Pandemic is going to give the deadly, and we do see some attacks come down now. Now we see the second den with the minion out of the way. That's That's looking good.
Yeah.
This is a good position to be in.
Cataclysm is a
Cataclysm.
bad position to be in.
Yes, 5
Oh,
damage
man.
with a smite up. This is going to be a close one. Will they be able to find the damage in time? This has potential.
Yeah.
Be a close game. Gonna gain 2 off the path. Just gonna keep digging, keep finding kill spells.
Maybe trying to dig for another wonder drug, something to put him a little bit higher up, past 7.
Yahui comes down again. Mend is going to gain a life.
Crimson Pact.
Yet again with the Pact. This is something that we didn't see much of last week, but we will see quite a bit this week.
Yeah. Joan coming down.
Now, assuming they don't have an out to the Jotun, how do you feel about not moving that snake so they cannot just attack it with the 2-1 and then put the Jotun to face to smite lethal? I think you have to keep that snake as is.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
The
move
one
that
on the
snake.
left can move. That's fine.
Yeah.
But this snake cannot move.
Yeah, I would not move that. But you gotta also remember, Burn is down to 4 cards left. This could be the exact opposite of what Burn was trying to do.
Actually, I think this was the game plan. I've seen talk of this deck this week. And if I'm not mistaken, the whole point is to go ahead and get the deck size down low. We do see them put the Jotun back in the hand, just as effective. As I was saying, though, the point is to get the deck size down low so they can actually manipulate what's going back into the deck.
Okay.
And loop the kill spells.
Okay.
This was something that Toon, who we saw in the last game just a minute ago, also talked about.
Yep. That would make a lot of sense then. So we wouldn't see really any downside here to just kind of going for it. Just letting yourself deck out if you could.
Now, we should note we do have a 60-minute limit on these matches. If this match goes to the full 60 minutes, which it has not hit yet, then what has been decided is play will continue a total of 10 minutes. And the highest life total at the end of that 10 minutes, if the game is not decided, will be who wins that game. Should that game win cause the match to go to a tie, the match will end in a tie. We won't have Top Cut this week. This is just Swiss. And in all likelihood, we may see at least once tonight that this does go 60 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did.
It may even go the full 70 without being decided. Because again, we see 2 snakes come back down. Bolt's gonna keep digging.
Snaring Serpent.
So next week, if you want to know what deck to play to get as much face time as you can on the cast,
Yeah.
go ahead and slam this list. Spend some time playing it this week. Get used to it. And then you can see just how much time you can spend on cast next week.
We will have to cast every single one of your games at some point.
We do see some life gain come down. So the deck is now empty. Smooth has 1 left in deck. This is this is a game.
This is a real fun way to start off the tournament.
This is the point that hand advantage begins to mean so much. Like, the amount of options available when you have 7 in hand as opposed to having 2 is... oh, man. What a spot to be in. And now we see... the shuffle back?
Yep.
Didn't... okay, it was just to put something in the deck. Oh, no.
And
the
here
life
we go.
gain is going to contend.
Now we see it. The recursion is... I want to say that's working as intended. SmoothOperator conceding to burn.
That is the game.
That is the game, and I believe that is the round. I have a hard
That is
time
indeed.
imagining anybody else is 50 minutes into their matches. So we are going to be switching over into round 2 while we get everything ready. We do have a new feature that we've added to the tournament, which we will be displaying in a minute. But before we do that, Noah, why don't you tell us about this week's most interesting and most popular commons? We do have Bolt from the blue, Ignition, and Ice Spike. Obviously, we always make sure we try to get as much data as possible so that way we can pass it along to you, the viewers, and the devs, and kind of let everybody know where the meta is going to be at. I wouldn't say where the meta is at right now, but what we are expecting to be the meta that has been originating from this tournament scene. What do these numbers say to you? I mean, you're the stats guy. I'm just the face. This stuff all gets way too deep for me. How do you feel about these?
So, this is neat to see. Last week, we saw Bolt being the most common of the commons, which we see again now. But last week, we also did see Ice Spike and Ignition swapped. Ice Spike was the second most played, with Ignition coming in behind it. I believe it was 12 and 10, but I don't have last week's totals pulled up. I know the gap between them was 2 copies. And now we see them not only swap positions, but again by just the 2 copies. So as we talked about last week, we see that amongst the commons, the most value tends to be found in these spells that act as kill spells without just saying kill a minion. By just dealing the damage, and in the case of Ignition, it can also go to the face, although it's not likely it does too often. So we still see high value in cheap kill spells, and especially with Bolt also digging into the deck and getting you to that next kill spell, that next Bolt, as we see by how many people have played it this week. It's neat to see the consistency amongst the commons, but also the switch between 2 of them.
So in a surprise turn of events, actually, Pulp and SemperPie are still playing out their match, I believe. I'm getting that pulled up right now. I was trying to get everything organized for round 2, but it looks like I think we're in game 3.
I would hope so by now.
I'm waiting to get...
Oh, what is this field? Hang on. We'll need a minute to catch up as we fill you in on what exactly is going on. As we see a total of, is that 9 enchantments?
Yep, that would be 9 enchantments. 9 enchantments, 5 artifacts.
6. Pulp has one as well.
Oh, man.
Not to be outdone, Pulp said you cannot be the only one who has one.
Yeah, it's...
What a game state.
When I was talking about a deck that plays Fires of Creation, I was actually talking about SemperPie's deck, and we actually do see SemperPie win that.
So I believe that is now the last of the matches.
That is the last of the matches. I had to double check everything, but I was happy we were able to jump into the last part of that. Let's go back over. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the most popular commons?
No, I think we basically hit on most of that. It's not too shocking to see that it's high value pseudo kill spells. That's kind of what we expect, not just this week, but moving on a weekly basis. I don't expect to see much change between the commons. They seem to be basically decided on, and people know this is the place that the value lies. It's having access to the bolt and the ice spike and the ignition.
Yeah, and it's fairly obvious for everybody that's playing anything that has blue or red in it. Now, we do have a new feature that our wonderful Noah worked so very hard on and is very proud of. So we're going to pull that up for you guys now while we take a small 5-6 minutes to kind of get everything back up and running for round 2. It's this interesting feature card spotlight. We're going to leave this up. It's going to be running. We have a bunch of different cards that we're going to be showing off, but we will be right back. All right, and we are back for our round 2. Of the Mythgard Weekly Open. We do have all of our players starting, but we are going to be watching SemperPie and Logic in a matchup I'm pretty excited about. They both had surprisingly long games last round, and to be honest, it was it's kind of shocking that Burns' deck obviously didn't go the longest.
Yeah, I was fully expecting them to have the longest games.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means we won't have to do too much jumping game to game this time, as we most likely will be enjoying quite the show this match.
Yeah. All right, we're just waiting for our players to get settled in. And let's see. Yeah, so how about those featured slides? Enough time for everybody to be up there.
I hope they gave somebody maybe some ideas of ways to look at things that don't see much play and possibly find a way to play them.
Yeah.
We'll be cycling. Usually once each couple weeks, we'll cycle out about half of the slides we have and put in a new set. So you'll see duplicates week to week, but it should feel like a good mix of old and new.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it here. The challenge has been accepted for our round 2 matchup. SemperPie, Logic, both on Fires of Creation.
Yeah, this is nice to see. I think they may be the only two on it as well.
No.
I'd have to double check. I know we have the stats.
Yeah, round 1 we also had somebody on Fires of Creation.
I've got the stats someplace. Let me double check that actually.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting stat to know. It's just a ton of enchantment burning. Now, I do feel for SemperPie's deck, the Mend was an interesting choice over the power that I personally would have played, the Reanimate. That's what I play in my Earthslide decks, which Earthslide I would just kind of contribute to any sort of token generation. We're going to see a battle of some Forge Elementals, though.
I did look. Ace is also playing it. So
Ace
that
was
is
playing it.
my mistake.
Ace was playing it in round 1. Now, some good old Forge Elementals just coming to party. Should be interesting. Guardian coming down.
Good, solid defensive minion.
Yep.
I'm a fan of it, actually.
Especially if you get an enchantment out there and you're able to buff it just naturally during your opponent's turn.
Yes.
Or, well, during your turn, rather. You're able to just swing in, then put it back down. It goes to Defender. And it's almost an absolute wall. Obviously, you can see from the art, you know, the two hiking friends that are in a lot of different card art in this game are having a hard time getting through.
So, Logic, gonna go ahead and put the lamp back, looking to just set up all of the gems they need to go ahead and play out the deck as they want. We do see a Detained.
One of my favorite arts in the game.
Yes, Sam.
Good old placeholders. Stone Mother coming down, another impassable wall right now for this Forge Elemental. A second Guardian coming down.
Yeah, Logic still not looking too bad with this hand. You know, they still have quite a bit unknown, and that's especially going to help having these snakes. But definitely, I would say on field alone, Logic is down a bit at establishing a good field. Vicious Cycle is going to go back to the deck. I like that as, at the moment, you kind of don't want to vicious cycle a snake. Feels bad.
Yeah. We're just seeing absolute walls here. This is pretty terrifying if we can find a way to either buff our minions like that, or be able to get a placeholder. Or being able to get Cataclysm, I mean. I don't know what you would deal with that in these colors.
Yeah, this is...
If Logic plays that? Your own populated field would be an option, but... Oof.
And we see the mend come down.
Mm-hmm.
This... It's a good spot to be in, I feel.
Yeah.
I would feel
SemperPie's
confident
a really
on
good
this
spot.
field.
Yeah.
We do see one minion go the way of Gone, but still in quite the position.
Yeah. Still being able to, absorb.
And the bolt, that's nice. Getting to
Bolt there is
maximize
real
the damage
good.
going to the opponent's face by not having to give up the elemental on the attack.
Mm-hmm. Another snake being generated, just kind of coming down.
Yeah, these double llamas making these snakes big.
Yeah.
When it's just 1/1s, the chump blocking can get a bit old, but at least it takes a long time to whittle down a big minion. Not so much the case now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see.
The elemental's going to come down. The demise not likely to mean too much at this point in time with such high life totals still, but any damage helps.
Yeah.
And coming back with an elemental again. You're going to see a lot of these this match.
Yeah, this is something we're just gonna kind of have to see one of these players deal with. I mean, I just also noticed that the Forge Elemental art is different in some cases.
Yes, I hadn't noticed that until you mentioned it, but indeed. We did also see the Helm activation going on. So the Helm is now live and doing its thing.
Yeah. 3/3 snakes kind of hanging out.
Go ahead and make that attack. I like that attack.
Yeah, I
Just
think that's a good attack too.
get what you can out of the way while you can, because you'll continue to gain value. You just amass so much value off of these snake tokens.
Yeah. In a board state that I didn't think we were going to be able to come back from, Logic's actually been able to maintain kind of filter.
Yeah, and that phalanx is fantastic with these llamas. That is going to be difficult to deal with.
Yep. Oh, or not.
Maybe it won't. I'm lying. The vicious cycle. Making me look like a fool.
That's a very, very good card. I think the art's also fantastic on that card. I can't express that enough. The art in this game in general.
Yes.
Personally, is
especially
one of
the
biggest
detain we saw a little bit ago.
Yep.
I would love to see, may just be a me thing, I don't know, but as we move on into beta and we get some of these images finalized, I hope we get maybe if like something we could buy that would let us use these paint sketches. Kind of like we can customize sleeves. Let us choose to continue using these paint sketches as a nod to the fantastic doodling that has happened on some of these.
Yeah, some of it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. I mean, this could still go either way, depending on what other enchantments we're gonna see. I feel like the enchantment All Father's Horde.
Oh, hang on. Gonna take out all of the fields, but do they have a way to deal with the impending?
Another Forge Elemental art that we...
Yeah. Elementals continuing to hit the field at this point. The band also came down, so now they'll be gaining mana off of all of these snakes, which is nice, except in top deck mode, at 6, if you have enough top end, I could see it being useful. I feel like at this point, though, it may be too little too late, and that mana gain won't actually help too much.
Yeah. Another great minion coming down. 6/4 Alpha Strike.
I made the mistake of taking away the abilities of one of those one time, and it beat me to death.
Yeah. Forge Elemental.
Do you see an Elemental again? So the twin 7/7s locking down that side of the field. The Temple Snake hoping to do its best to stop the bleeding on that side, if you will.
Yeah. The Parsa Recruit as well.
And an Elemental coming down. A lot of Elementals this game. And again, so much damage going in.
Coming down, being able to let the defender attack.
Yes. How do you feel about Alchemical Key?
The art's great.
Yeah, again, back to
throwback,
this.
yeah. I mean the cards in certain decks, it's great, and this is definitely one of those decks. You know, we're gonna see some really beefy defenders that obviously are there to be a wall, but at the same time, you want to have a way to be able to swing in with them when you need to, and
yes,
he does that for you. It gives you the peace of mind of knowing that you're not going to die, but also gives you the advantage to swing in with a 9/7.
Key being the all state of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good top deck, though. When you need gas, that is the gas.
Yep, that is the gas.
So now with all these new options, deciding what it is they want to do next.
Deciding what's going to be the best play to get through.
Yeah, these snake tokens don't seem like much until they get a couple buffs on them, and then suddenly you've got issues. Both life totals have been whittled down a good bit, but
yeah, Maze coming down as well, stopping.
Lightning back to deck, Mend activation. And we still do see the Elemental in Logic's hand.
Well, the Elementals are public knowledge. We both know that it's going to be an Elemental showdown, but it's seeming like the Snake generation from Logic's field is going to be a little bit more impactful. Alpha Strike. Killing that Elemental. Snakes are going to be able to get in a little bit.
Yeah, we will see some damage coming in.
Yeah.
What do we see next? Okay. So, Logic in a good position to likely just close this game out now.
Yeah. If you're going to draw a top deck, now's the time.
Yeah, this would be the time to top deck. No,
and
it did not happen. Logic takes game 1. That was quite the game. A lot of elementals, a lot of combat. We saw 2 decks that said, I'm going to go wide, followed by, no, I'm going to go wide. And in the end, Logic went the widest, and Logic picks up game 1.
Yeah. And honestly, it seems like it's a coin toss. It's not slipping up one step that'll allow your opponent to get the advantage there. But we are going to be seeing game 2. We do have Logic up 1 game.
So we do see the jungle come down on 1. That's a good opening play.
Really is.
We see these high life rolls thanks to these pads.
Yeah.
66 combined life at the beginning of a game. That is quite a bit.
Yeah.
See the 2-1 come down, 1-1 to hand. This is a good, typical opening out of both decks. This is kind of what I would expect to see on 1 mana against each of these decks.
Burn the Earth Slide to get it out of there.
Yeah, don't need it
coming down.
yet. Wait until it's gonna be good.
Maze is a phenomenal card by itself. Paired.
Yes, it is.
Paired with the Verdant Jungle. I think it's a really good lane to have right there.
Yeah, that is a. I'm gonna see and a maze. So this one, we may want to buckle up. This could be a long one.
Yeah, folks, we might see a long game here.
Yeah.
Band coming down.
Elementals not yet amping up to the 8/8s and 9/9s we saw of last game, but in due time, it will definitely be happening. So we'll see what Logic decides to do next. Let's see. Detain going back to the deck. Maze is going to do some digging, see what we can find. How do you feel about that, letting the elemental take the maze?
I mean, you get your value out of it. It replaces itself, sure. But I don't know. I think I would have gone more SemperPie's route and held it up, not burned it so quick. Giving you a chance to reestablish it.
I'm not positive about this. With no attack, but focused 1, will Maze actually deal 1 damage? Will the Maze act... Oh, the Elemental's going to be a 2/2 anyway.
Damage in combat.
I would assume... No, it does not do the damage. Okay. Meanwhile, this maze is a 2/5. This is a big maze.
That is a big maze. 2/5. And the Serpent's End coming down, producing a snake. Snake's going to say, no, Forge Elemental. Not today.
One thing I might do tonight when we finish and post in all of the chats I'm in, just because it would be neat to see the stat, is look at the most played minions in these deck lists, and then count the amount of snakes we saw played, and see if we actually see so many snakes that it outvalues the total minion count of the biggest, most common minions in this week's event.
It's hilarious. Serpent Den producing another snake. Gonna see it trade with the Forge Elemental.
We see a den come down again.
Coming down, yep.
Just looking to put in as much opposition as they can. The key... It's good to establish the key now. It's not quite unlocking the ability to attack yet. Like, last game, they had the phalanx on field when the key came down. So, you get to play the key and then immediately make the attack. It's kind of like an unexpected attack coming in the opponent didn't have to take into account. But now they know when they see that Phalanx come down, it will be able to attack, and they can plan to deal with it.
Yeah.
Bimini Falls.
Yeah, Falls is really good in this type of deck.
Yes, it is. Also,
SemperPie's,
fantastic animation.
Yeah. And I mean, SemperPie is going to be able to just establish a higher life total naturally, not really even trying to between Falls, Mend, anything else. It's going to be pretty hard to deal with that on top of all of these minions that are out, on top of all these artifacts. I think we're in a very, I think
the mana
is in a really good spot.
The mana they've been gaining too. I think this is going to be kind of what helps decide this. Actually, is they'll have so much mana to spend to play out this hand.
Mm-hmm.
They get 2 always just coming off of these dens. Yeah. And even just the 2 is quite a bit.
Iconic. And the Maelstrom coming down, wiping the snakes, no matter where you put them, just saying, give me free mana. It doesn't matter that you're there, snakes. Oh, man.
What a good position, I think. Still high life totals, anything could happen, but if I had to take a guess now at this moment as to who would win this matchup, if this was just a still image I was given, I would have to assume that Logic is not going to, but anything can happen.
Yep.
We still have a lot of game left to play.
Yeah, Raid the Tombs coming down, burning the Eager Recruit, burning the Maze, banishing. Actually, not burning. Sentinel can attack.
You think you attack with the Sentinel?
Not against that board. I think in any other instance, yeah, but maybe not here.
Sentinel isn't quite going to do all that it needs to do at this point.
It's not often you see a Sentinel out.
Although, we could see the buff, and then the swing with the focus will actually be enough. They choose not to take out the Elemental, but could have.
Yeah, I don't know if taking out the Elemental would have been the right call. I mean, that Maze has been there for a while, and it's just gonna keep doing stuff.
And we see still lots of bonus mana that is just going to make any of these top decks live.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing about the bonus mana at this stage of the game is actually that you have a solid gem base. So you not only get the bonus mana, but you don't have to put things back to continue gaining at this point. If you need the mana, you totally could, but having a solid gem base means you won't have to go, oh, I've got the mana I need, but I have to put something back because I don't have my gems. So the mana at this point, I think, means a lot, not just because it's mana, but also because they do have an established gem base now, and they can play multiple things as they see fit.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed when I play a 3-color deck. It's really dependent. You have to think turns ahead on what you're eventually going to be trying to do, because sometimes, hell, even in a 2-color deck, sometimes I find myself in Stretcher not being able to play all the cards I want to play all the time.
Yeah, specifically that's a deck I always do my best to keep it at 5 and 5.
Yeah.
Because if you get skewed too much to one side, you'll be sitting on a handful of the opposite side that you just can't do much with.
Yeah.
You may get a feast and a pact, but then you've got a full hand and you can't play the ignition you've got. Things like that happen.
We're going to see a 9-9 and a 7-7.
We do see the bolt. That's good value. Slamming the elemental down.
Not having to worry
Not done playing enchantments yet, by the way.
Yeah, not having to worry about taking any damage on that 7-7, because the second you pass turn, you're going to wipe those 2 minions. The Earth Slide coming down. Or actually getting burned. Excuse me.
Mend.
Wiping, yep.
What a nice position to be in.
It's got to feel really good.
Yeah, I would feel quite confident at this point, I think.
But you can't ever get too confident in, a tournament. You gotta be prepared for some crazy top decks, something that you didn't expect. Obviously, we're in a pretty developed board state. Things have been happening. A lot of things have been happening. We got 9 artifacts out. We got 6 enchantments, and at this point, we're just kind of waiting to see if SemperPie can close out the game or not.
I love seeing game states like this when you have so many things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You need to pay attention to all of these enchantments and, oh, my opponent has that key out and this lamp is building up. I've got my 2 singing stones. I still need to mend. You have so many decision points in a game state like this that it allows a lot of complicated play.
Yeah.
Not complex play, I guess, would be the best way to say it. But lots and lots of decision points. Sometimes, though, the decision is as easy as just winning the game.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man,
we likely see now. It's not actually lethal, but it's close.
Yeah, it's you're putting it out there that if you cannot do something, you are dead next turn.
And as a not so subtle hint, we will be giving out packs following the conclusion of all of these matches between the next uncommon section and showing you the slideshow again. So
Yes.
as we kind of wind down, not with this match, but the upcoming matches,
Yes.
you will definitely want to pop in and say hi in chat so that Nightbot picks you up and you have a chance to win
Yes.
a pack. We will be giving away at least 1 code to 1 pack then, and we may not stop at 1. We'll see what happens.
Yes. But remember, if you are a regular viewer of this channel, if you've already won a pack during that art contest I did, I draw a card in MS Paint, or the previous contest, it's pulling from the same list and you are not eligible to win again. We are working on that, making it more refreshing for everybody. SemperPie does close that one out.
So that is now 1-1, yes?
That
should be 1-1.
That is 1-1. We are going to be getting a game 3. And like I said, I mean, it's kind of whoever can get there first. You just have to not miss a step, and it keeps it interesting. We do have a bunch of other games that have finished.
We'll do what we can to get you updates on those.
Yeah. Updates would be Pulp has beaten SmoothOperator 2-0. Rain Zone has beaten Jock 2-0. Endozoa has beaten Burn 2-0. And Charmer has beaten Shadox 2-0.
And we see a battle of the mazes in this game now.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you draw your card before you do anything? Yep.
Yes, you do. This
Yep.
is a good point to make, is they have not, and yeah, see, now the Silicon Sentinel goes back, but until you've done that, you may want, it's typically best to go ahead and use the maze in that situation.
Another maze.
So you have as many options as you
Yeah.
can when you choose what to put back.
Yeah. Yeah, for
If
sure.
you, in that situation, put back something like the minion that was just played instead, and then the maze goes off and gets you a Silicon Sentinel that you can't do anything with,
Yep.
that Silicon Sentinel would have been best spent back into the deck.
We're just
So-
seeing mirrored plays here.
Yeah, this.
I like how the
I hope we
four-leaf
see it
clover-
continue. I'd love to see the elemental come next.
Yeah, I like how the four-leaf clover just kind of floats on the cards. It's funny. Yeah, and I mean, those decisions, obviously, it's just something you got to think about. And this might be wrong. I know if I'm able to play a bolt from the blue, and if I have the opportunity to bolt, and I know I'm going to do it later on, I always do it first. That way I get the draw before I bird as well. And,
I typically do as well.
Yeah.
So we don't
There's a
quite
recruit
see
coming down.
both fields looking identical now, but we still do see decent fields being built up, and that's kind of what we've had in the last two games. Is it's a little slow as they each build up the mass amounts of enchantments that we see, and then the fight begins, and it's just been a slugfest watching these two. That was a lot of value in that play.
We're going to see full grips, essentially, from both. Serpenten coming down. Snake time.
Now we do something we've had
Band
a
coming
common
down
theme
well.
as today has gone on, is seeing these mazes played on the ends of the field.
Mm-hmm.
We do not see them much to the inside, and that is not just coincidence. Playing them on the ends limits the amount of minions the opponent can attack you with.
Exactly.
By having it on this end line, on this end lane, only the two opposing minions can make attacks. You have less things to kill and keep out of the way to not hit the maze, and it takes away one lane of opposition that you have to take into account as you hope to coddle this maze and let it do its thing.
Yep. Oh, man. Parry at the gates. Awaken, draw a card, then Divination 2 and draw another card. Oh, man. That's, hear a lot of arguments over being one of the best cards in the game for that card. A lot of people seem to think that. A Forge Elemental coming down. We have 4 mazes on the field. Bolt from the blue, just a draw. Pretty simple there. Parry is going to perish as well. Big old Forge Elemental coming down once again.
The onslaught of elementals continues.
Yeah, I mean, fire's a creation. You're never going to run out. Yeah, I would almost say the Reanimate could be subbed out for a Mend. I think Reanimate hasn't been as impactful as the Mend has.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. We see, although they don't do it quite the same way, these decks look to accomplish just about the same thing, effectively. And we've seen Mend just kind of outclass at this point, I would say. I think it's definitely just been the most useful of the two. And again, we see the maze. These mazes have done so much. We likely won't see the maze activation on the left side of the field, as you don't want to lose it to the snake attacking.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you get past that? How do you get past the defender with Alpha Strike? You really need to hope.
Yeah, I think I just play on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah.
Typically when I see it, I just kind of go, and we'll go this way, and hope my opponent chooses not to follow.
Yeah. And
not something I like picking a fight with if I
The
can avoid
O-ring
it.
coming down, buffing all of the snakes. One snake being able to kind of swing in, taking a hit, but also limiting the maze to making a decision of, do I want to sacrifice my maze to draw a card or not? I guess that's the same decision next turn, but it's forcing it.
Speaking of getting past this phalanx, this is exactly the gameplay situation that I feel is going to be advantageous to Logic, in that the opponent only plays one Ice Spike in this list. So Ice Spike typically would be the best way to get past that at this point in time. And we will not likely see the Ice Spike. Have we seen it yet? I may have missed it. No. So all the bolts gone. You can't chain bolts. You have one Ice Spike. Not much of a way to actually deal with that at this time. Now, I think I would go ahead and activate this maze that's on the left-hand side, as the opponent will have both snakes to go ahead and slam into it.
Mm-hmm.
So the maze is likely to die anyway, and I think we'll most likely see that one activated.
Yeah. Oh man, this is an incredible board state.
Choosing not to activate the maze. So we definitely see, yeah, the attack goes down, maze dies, damage still goes in. The Logic's looking to be in a good spot at the moment, but as we've seen games between these two, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Logic is going to lose one of these temple sticks, but getting a new one back just as soon.
Yep.
Although that does stop the double attack to take out the Jotun, because this snake will not be able to attack while the last one could have. And when we haven't seen enough, always going to be seeing these snakes coming down. Damage is going to go to the face. The Jotun goes to 1 health, and we pass. That's gas.
Yeah, we're just waiting to see if one of them can break through. I mean, it's a fairly even match, even with all the snakes. But yeah, we're just
it's been a fun match to cast and to watch.
Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting. It could still swing either way.
Jungle back to deck. I like that. At this point, I don't think it's likely to do much outside of setting up a slide. So I'm not at all opposed to seeing the jungle go back in that situation. We'll see damage continue to bleed out on this left side. At what point do you think it may be time to place some minions on that side, if you have big enough minions in hand, and hope to kind of whittle away at that? It's a bit tough knowing that they do still have the den, and they'll continue to make tokens on that side. Yeah. But at what point is enough damage enough? I don't think we've hit that yet. 20 life is still a lot. But when it's coming off in such big chunks, it adds up fast.
Yeah, for sure. And it's essentially right now, SemperPie has to find a way to either deal with these snakes or get more minions on the board. I mean, the unit placement, as long as it's good, it's going to be really impactful. But yeah. Ooh.
So the 9/9, quite the unit. The minion is now dead. Both take 1 damage, but this is the point we talk about bleeding out that damage. We now see choosing not even to move the snakes and keep making them, because you can just keep pushing this 9 damage on the side. Opting to play the elemental, coming down as a 7/7. In all likelihood, this is game. This will be the match going to Logic. We will see what happens with the top deck. Just continuing to dig, hoping to find some way out of this, and that is the concession. Logic takes the match 2-1.
And we do see that. I do believe we still have some people in the match. Acemartinez, I believe, is still in there.
So we can jump on and get you some of Ace's gameplay.
Let's go ahead and jump.
Oh.
On.
We jumped on just in time
and
to
we
jinx
jumped.
Ace.
We jumped there just in time. Right, we do have some more commons and uncommon played cards to talk about. Let's go ahead and get that up.
Have we double-checked that this actually is all of the matches this time?
Yes, this is confirmed. All of the matches. We were just waiting for them to report. As it is just replaying the kill scene. One moment. Yes, that is confirmed. All of the matches.
That was Ace's second loss, 0-2 in that matchup.
So let's go ahead and get this underway. We're going to be talking about the most popular uncommons, and as well as sharing some interesting stats for those. We have Crimson Pact, Duskwing Angel, and Muse as well. One of the more popular
the Calliope
cards.
Muse also seeing quite a bit of play this week.
All right. And Noah, once again, stats guy, let's talk about it. How do you feel about, Crimson Pact being up there this week?
I wasn't shocked to see this. I believe this was something that didn't see much play last week. And then as I was playing the game as this week went on, I was doing some testing with some of the lists that we saw last week. And I began seeing, I feel like I need a way to dodge demises. I was seeing a lot of Kovalok played against me, and giving my opponent that much mana was becoming an issue. So it helps with demises like that, with the Kovalok and the Panacea, and banishing the minion. You basically say, I'll take the attack one time, but this is gone and I don't have to think about it again. It's not coming back off my opponent's soul's path. It's just gone. And sometimes that can be all you need to swing the battle and win the game. With Duskwing Angel, we see what I think is just a highly stat-efficient body because of the abilities it has. If it didn't have the abilities it had, the mana cost wouldn't quite offset the stats, in my opinion. But the life tap is huge, the agile's big, and I think the most impactful thing is actually the full heal. It basically says, you cannot slam small minions at me and kill me. And so, playing the Duskwing Angel, you kind of say, I've hit the point that I'm going to play some of my big minions. You best have big minions too. We also see the Calliope Muse, which I'm not shocked to see. I actually expected it to be possibly the most played, because at the time I was thinking about it, Pact being uncommon completely slipped my mind. But Calliope Muse has stat efficiency on its cost, as well as an excellent awaken with that divination, letting you see what you want to see when you need to see it, and then also still being impactful in the ensuing battle. So not too much shock in these uncommons. I think Duskwing Angel is the one that may be most likely to fall off week to week. I think Pact is likely to stay put at the top spot next week, and I would expect to see Calliope Muse in the top as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. And we do have some other interesting numbers as far as the color pie breakdown. Total number of blue cards in this event. We don't have a graphic for it, unfortunately. That's something we're going to be hopefully working on next event. But color pie breakdown, total number of blue cards, 198. The most played color as far as the card count goes. And then for the lowest number of cards would be the total number of orange cards, 76. I feel like those numbers kind of speak for themselves as far as the power levels of each color go, and what we should expect to see as far as these games. One moment. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get these feature slides up. We're gonna be doing that for about 3 minutes while we get the remainder of round 3 started. All right. And a much shorter feature card spotlight than last time, but we are ready to begin round 3. Our players are diving into their games right now, and we do have a new feature match to watch. We do have Logic from last round going up against Endozoa for this round. I'm really excited. These decks are so opposites on the spectrum that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of fun. And, we did also include this for anybody that's interested in building these decks. We do have the essence cost down below each one of these deck lists. So you can pick up the deck lists up by typing !decks and, go into game, build it yourself.
What do you think about this matchup? We've seen both Logic and Endozoa tonight. How do you think this is going to play out?
I think it's really gonna depend on who can, like I keep saying, not miss any steps. I mean, if Endo lets the board get too big, it's gonna go bad for them. If Logic lets Endo control the board, it's gonna go bad for Logic. So this is kind of a toss up in my opinion. So let's go ahead and confirm for them to jump into it.
Will be just one moment as we get things finalized and set up on the Logic and Endozoa match.
And they are in, which means
We'll be jumping in now.
We are ready to begin. An immediate life total gap based off of the paths chosen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too impactful in this matchup. If Endozoa was on something with a little less late game potential and basically was saying, I want to play all my minions out and hit you as fast as I can,
Yeah.
then this life point gap likely means a lot.
Yeah.
But Endozoa totally fine with playing the long game. They do have some ways to gain life in this deck, and I think they'll be okay with the life point gap as they chip away at it now by 2 using. They've also gained 2, so the gap is now 2. It was 6 just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I think Endozoa is okay.
Yeah.
Point.
Noah, you do keep cutting in and out a little bit. So we do have the Forge Elemental coming down. Endo burning the Ignition, which I guess wiping out one Forge Elemental really isn't that important when you could Divination 3 with your Muse. Right from the get-go, it's just a big body that I think is going to be a pretty hard thing to deal with this early game. It's going to definitely be swinging in, taking a little bit more dominant stance on the board this early.
Okay, hopefully we solved the cutting.
Good. So Eager Recruit getting burned. I stand immediately corrected. The failings coming down is going to stop the Muse unless we have one of the, I'd say 8 burn spells that Endozoa has, and of course he does.
So waiting to see what Endozoa decides to do next. We likely see them just gain a mana, activate the smite, and pass. We'll see what happens. Yeah. That's the mana and the smite and the pass.
Yep.
So Logic now looking... Logic's still not at all looking bad. This is anybody's game. We will anxiously await Logic's next move.
Serpentine.
And shocking nobody, it is going to be some snakes.
Yep.
I think Endo also likely to expect that at this point. The bolt feels nice. Letting the Calliope Muse get its attack in. Hecate's Wheel coming down. This is looking good.
Yep.
I think if Logic has a second den, it kind of has to go to Endo's left now by the Calliope Muse. And Endo doesn't mind picking off the snakes one by one on that side.
Yeah. We're going to see either a very short game or a very long game here, depending on what Logic's able to do. The Sentinel is...
Sentinel's big.
Yeah, is very big and is going to pretty much stop that Muse from running into it. Putting back the Buse. Oh.
Endo
Oh,
saying,
no.
I will not be outdone in the big minion contest of this game. The Detain coming down.
Detain coming down. Sure, it's stunned, but you know, what does it really do? I mean, I guess you're going to be able to bounce it, which is good. So we'll see how that works out. We definitely, in my personal experience, I have had a lot of problems with trying to get past giant walls. Crimson Pact does
So we did
exactly that.
We saw the oops emote out of Logic. Do you think maybe they miscalculated something in the play they made?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Possible. I'm gonna go ahead and just bounce that back. Don't want to deal with it yet. Gonna wait until Logic hopes to find a way to actually contest a 6-8, because as it stands now, it's not looking likely that they have much of a way. Endo's begun to pick up a decent advantage at this point. The hand size is coming into play. Logic less likely to top into gas, although we could still see quite a bit. Logic is definitely not depleted yet at this point. And the Detain coming down again, still not letting the 6-8 do anything.
Yeah.
Elemental's going to come down.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a ton of elementals come down from Logic. We haven't seen a lot of artifacts come down from Logic either.
Yeah, and with only one unknown thing in hand, it's not likely Logic has seen what they hope to see this game.
Yeah.
And that kind of shows in the position of both at this point in time.
Yeah, Endo's at a full grip. I mean, it's...
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's something. That's forcing some movement. I honestly think the big turning point in this game was Wheel coming down. I think without Wheel...
Absolutely.
Without Wheel, we'd be in a completely different game.
Yeah, if that Wheel hadn't shut the den off, Logic would likely be ahead by quite a bit at this point. But instead, and back to the hand we go yet again. Logic saying, I'm going to stop as much of this as possible. Endo has spent a lot of time with high stats on the field, but not actually able to put the damage in until now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the... Oh, man. There we go. Alpha. Let's see. We're just going to see Endo keep trying to maintain on the board, and Loki's Veil coming down. Oh, no.
These two look so good side by side, by the way.
Oh, yeah. That's the dream team right there. The gruesome twosome right there, for sure. Oh, Parry at the Gates is also a very, very good card.
Yeah.
That can hopefully...
I guess shame on me saying they couldn't top gas at this point. Definitely shame on me. All the gas. Hang on. Logic saying I am not out of this game yet. Listening in on the cast and just decided to make me look like a fool.
Oh!
Twice, by then also conceding as I was saying it.
Endo picks up game one in a fantastic game one as well.
I'll be having a nice giant slice of humble pie between these two games.
And I mean, but are we surprised at anything we saw? Did it seem pretty standard? In my opinion, I
don't think I expected it to go quite like that. I think that was mostly a case of Logic didn't see most of the game-winning stuff they like to see. The Hecate's Wheel definitely helped a lot with Endo being able to shut off those snake tokens.
Yeah. And let's see here. Back in same immediate board state, already up on life, just based off the paths. How do you feel about that? Each path having a different, starting life total.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest things. I've played a lot of TCGs and CCGs in my day.
Yep.
But none in my life total wasn't always the same going in.
Yep, I do.
And
I do think the same.
It's nice.
Yeah, it creates a diversity. It creates a different feel. I think being able to choose two things doesn't limit you to what you would find a class, but almost a complete customization of your deck.
Yeah, it feels less like necessity than it feels like supplemental decision making, and that feels good.
Yep, makes it a lot more unique in my opinion. It's one of the main driving reasons I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll check out Mythgard. And here we are. And Ichor Feast coming down. One lone Forge Elemental. May's getting burned.
Phalanx coming down.
Phalanx coming down for sure.
We see the damage go in. Looking to widen the damage gap we talked about just a minute ago.
And Spear of Destiny sitting over cautiously on the side.
Indeed.
Yeah, Focused 1 is very, very good. And for 2 mana, I think Spear of Destiny is one of the better artifacts. Definitely lost a couple games to it, for sure.
Calliope Muse coming down. Ignition taking out the Phalanx. This is a good spot. I think Endo feels okay at this point. Logic definitely doesn't feel panicked yet by any means.
Yeah.
But Endo most likely sitting on a handful of good, solid options and feeling good at this point.
Oh, another one coming down. Kind of limiting what the Muse can do, but I have a strong feeling we have another Ignition in hand or one of the other 8 to 10 kill spells that we have.
Yeah, we definitely have not seen the last of the kill spells quite yet.
Yeah, no. Thunderclap coming down. Fantastic. Wiping the board. Being able to
putting on
really
damage.
Control. Yeah.
Actually, a good chunk of damage because it deals 2 damage to Logic as well, and then the Calliope Muse goes in, so 5 damage getting in.
Pretty much a... Oh, okay. Key
now
coming
the key
down.
is out.
Yep. Key being out is going to make an entirely different scenario than last game. Silicon Sentinel is going to be able to do a whole lot more work. Crimson Pact making me look like a fool. And we're just going to see Muse just keep swinging in. Uncontested.
We did just see Ace log out. Sadly, due to scheduling issues, they've had to dip out now. So it will have a little bit of effect on these last matches. But we'll continue playing on and hopefully
we are working on...
we find a way to accommodate this.
Yeah, we are working on a new time frame for next week's tournament. Which we will be announcing. We're going to be posting the signups and the announcement after finals. In between the continuation of the stream, we're going to be going over some stats from the stream. I'm just kind of hanging out and talking about what we're going to be looking to do future-wise to accommodate more players. We have a lot of European players that want to play, and I think we can get a fair mix.
I don't think I like the play out of logic just now, playing down the second alchemical key.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because they don't have any concealed info in hand now.
Yeah.
Endozoa is in a good position now anyway, but the second alchemical key didn't do anything, and what it did, it didn't do anything impactful positively. I mean, but it did have the negative effect on logic of Endozoa being able to say, okay, I know all that my opponent has.
Yeah.
Nothing is hidden. I'm going to get to play out exactly as I want to now, and not have to think about, well, what if logic is holding X?
Yeah, and that is fair. Kind of being able to stop that. But I feel like it was kind of worth it to get the Forge Elemental. It doesn't seem like it's going to really be that impactful regardless. Based off of what we've seen played. If it's the only line you have, I think you just got to take it at that point. Again,
I think holding out would have been okay. Life total is high enough at the moment with logic that I think holding out one time would have been okay. I do definitely see some usefulness in getting the elemental. I just don't know that the elemental was as good as the concealed info.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's why logic is playing and doing well today, and I am casting.
Yeah. It's all about the decisions that we make. Let's see. We've got a ton of different artifacts. I feel like maybe Reanimate's going to be the way to go this time. Yeah.
Definitely.
Make a little Cobblejack. With Focused, we'll be able to kill that.
But
no. Oh,
the 6-8 again. Smite going to the face. Logic down low. Definitely back against the wall. If Logic has any top decks, this is the time to top deck them.
Yeah. This is getting kinda wild.
If Endo's holding a bolt, this elemental goes down. We still see the 2 damage on the opposite side of the field. In fact, that's 1, and the ignition
and
lethal.
That
Endozoa
is going to be lethal,
having all the pieces.
All the pieces to the puzzle for Endo.
Solving the lethal. That is going to be 2-0 to Endozoa.
And let's see here. What other games do we got going on right now? Tunestar has finished their game. They are 2-0 over SemperPie. Endo has finished his game, obviously. Let's see. Ace had to dip out.
Looks like Pulp may be still playing.
Okay. Let's try to jump in there. See if we can get some updates. That. Charmer down low. Pulp's up. Full uncontested board.
We will get you what info we can about the game count at this time, though likely looking like Pulp is going to take this game.
I believe they are in game 1. Charmer is up 1 game, according to the Battlefy.
Okay, sounds good. So, in that case, Pulp winning this most likely means
a game.
We go to 1-1.
Yep.
And we will see a final game.
Hold on, I'm waiting for something spicy.
Yeah, let's see.
No, nothing.
Shame. Came close.
Came damn close. Yeah.
But that will do it. The Duskwing Angel we talked about a little while ago came to play.
Being one of the better cards.
It is indeed 1-1, so we will be showing you the last game of this match as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get all the info updated in just a moment.
And let's go ahead and jump into that game when it is available. Other game updates, we have Jock eliminating Shaddix at 2-0.
Defeating, not quite eliminating.
Defeating.
And we see the ignition goes back to the deck. We do see the pass. Pulp going second. So they will get the advantage of the 2 life the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
As the seasons change. We do see the clay effigy come down. Good opening play.
Yeah. Now, I'm not really... Oof. Fire Song Prodigy coming down.
So the ignition that just went back to the deck, not that big of a deal, as we do see one still in the hand.
Yeah.
Pulp looking to play the Yahui. So do you think in this situation, obviously we don't know what else is in hand, but do you like the attack into the Yahui and then the ignition to clean it up?
Yeah, but I also feel
Get it
like
out
it's
of the way.
I feel like it's kind of a bait, you know? Like you
Yeah,
could
and
always
actually we do see now that they didn't want to play the ignition because they had good plays to make instead.
Yep. And I mean
We
that
see-
seems like a better play there to just kind of eliminate it instead of losing out on that extra. But clay effigy coming down, ignition coming down as well.
Ignition cleaning up the Yahui, smite to the face, likely to be a pass. No, we'll see the clay effigy.
Clay effigy burn into clay effigy. Yeah, seems good.
Yeah.
Seems
Seeing the one go
good.
back, I didn't think we'd be likely to see the second, but
Yep.
indeed we do, and I will continue to just eat anything that comes out of my mouth today. So, weighing the options, at this point, 6 in hand on both sides, still tons of game to play. Choosing what to do next. We do see the Panacea come down. Gonna lose the 2 life in the hope to gain it back upon death.
And here we're going to see Stretcher start putting in some damage. Honestly, that can just get so out of control. It's
How do you
unreal.
feel about this yellow take on last week's winning deck? This was something I saw popping up as I was playing my games this week, and I'm not totally confident in the deck's ability, but I will say I did lose to it a couple times, and stuff like Vicious Cycle, I want to be able to play Vicious Cycle, so I could see some advantage to this yellow build, but how do you feel about it at this point?
Personally, I feel like if you don't have all of the mythics for Dire Stretcher, this is probably your best bet. If you want to play something similar. But it's I would have to see the 2 play against each other in a higher level setting to kind of determine that, or through testing to kind of see what it would look like matched up.
We do see the Infuse come down to go ahead and push the snake past the Panacea. Pulp saying, go ahead and gain the life. I plan to take it away again eventually. We have the Hecate's Wheel in play on the left-hand side. The White Cadejo has come down. Pulp continuing to just bleed life at this point, though.
Yeah. Oh. Firesong Prodigy. Pulp's really just trying to find a way to stabilize here. I mean, the snakes are great, but if... Can't do anything if you're dead. That's going to be really good.
The Duskwing Angel feels good if Pulp's actually able to stick it on the field. We did have the White Cadejo effect, gaining life. The Infuse pushes in the damage. Pulp sitting on a full hand and then some, looking at 10, going to have to ditch one.
Oh, my idol.
Oh man, the stun coming down. So Pulp
Libre.
not going to be able to use this Duskwing Angel to gain back some of the life that they've been bled of as this game has gone on.
Oh,
being slowly whittled down. Only one of these snake tokens able to attack at this time. That will depend on what happens with this Howling Abyssal.
Mm-hmm.
And Pulp doesn't have a good way to deal with the Howling Abyssal. If they kill it flat out, the ability will go off and put them down to 6. But you can't quite pact it at this point, because you still go down to 6. So I kind of want to see how Pulp handles this Howling Abyssal. Do you just slam all the snakes into it, get it out of the way? Do you just put on the 1 damage with the snake on the end? We see the Calliope Muse. This is quite the spot to be in at this point. Oh, and Pulp will gain the life. So it's still in a good position now. The 1 damage goes in. You don't have to out the Howling Abyssal now. So Pulp's just going to pass on a mostly full field. Wait on the stun to come back on this Duskwing Angel. Duskwing is going to die. Pulp goes to 19 in much less of a do something now to not lose situation than we saw just a minute ago with 10. White Cadejo comes down yet again, looking to continue this life gain.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, all of Pulp's snakes have been shut off damage-wise, just as the Abyssal goes down to 1. This is quite the spot. We do have the Infuse, so Pulp will be able to push past that Howling Abyssal if they choose to do so. The Duskwing Angel coming down, able to attack immediately. We likely see the Duskwing Angel attack to its left. The Calliope Muse... No, we will see the double that way.
We're seeing a full impactful board here. I mean, the stabilization has been fantastic, but I still feel like we could still turn in a bad way.
Yeah, I think in Pulp's situation, I would have attacked to the left with the Calliope Muse so that the snakes could then attack as well. Because leaving that much damage behind when the life point gap is this much just doesn't feel like Pulp's playing to win so much as Pulp's playing not to lose. And I guess we'll see how that pays off as the game goes on.
We'll see that.
So we see the ignition come down. 2-1 is now dead. knowing that the Duskwing Angel can make an attack that will give the snake's attack back anyway, do you think you attack with this Howling Abyssal now, get one of the snakes out of the way? Do you make the opponent put the damage on you? We did just see Pulp's hesitance to attack like that a minute ago.
I think you have to. I think you have to
I kind of feel like at this point, with such a commanding lead at the moment, although Pulp's hand is quite full, I feel like I would feel confident just sitting and making my opponent make plays.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do anything because I'm winning at this point. I'm going to wait until you do something and hope that you slip up in doing so.
And let's see, are we actually waiting, or are we
We may
still
be in a
spectating
spectate bug. Let me go double check that.
Just jump back in real quick. I think we were actually just waiting.
Yeah,
you
I think
never
it was
know.
just a wait.
Which
is fine. It's
I would
a
rather
field
double
this
check.
complex takes some time to navigate.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
But we have
sometimes it
bugged a
happens.
couple times, so we did need to double check it.
Exactly.
Ignition on the Calliope Muse. Oh. Now we'll see. I think we have to see this attack that I was talking about a moment ago. Although it... the Pact coming down stops the demise effect of the Howling Abyssal. Pulp's going to save that life, but take the same amount in using the Pact. So I suppose that's kind of a moot point. The snakes will begin moving out to the left. We'll likely see these two on the end stay put as to not block... Oh! Mad cow disease happening yet again.
Yep.
Many people have been infected by this today. And we should see 2 damage to the face coming down off of these snakes by Pulp. Should they choose to infuse, we'll actually see the additional point of damage put on. Yeah, we do see the infuse come down, slowly beginning to whittle away at this life total now that Pulp's field has stabilized some. The question now will become, can Pulp deal damage fast enough to not die? And that's going to depend solely on keeping this Duskwing Angel able to attack, which it now cannot as it's been stunned yet again.
And it's... Ooh, the vicious cycle
And we see the vicious cycle. Which will take a life as well. Smite putting in 2. Panacea back to the deck. Damage being dealt yet again. This is not quite the spot I'd want to be in Pulp's shoes.
Yeah, for
except
sure.
that who doesn't like having a hand that full?
Yeah, I mean, but it's also got its downsides, right? If you don't play any of those cards, you're going to have to discard them. You're going to just eat more damage from Stretcher. You have to do something. Giving all your units rush seems good.
Yeah, no.
Being able to just have all of your minions swing in.
And
being able
the
to
Duskwing
stabilize.
Angel.
All right.
Pulp looking to be in a good spot now.
Yep.
Will we see them not use the infuse, though? Getting too caught up in making the attacks. They have slowed down with this last minion. And we do see the infuse. The damage goes in. Pulp in a good spot now.
But also having to
Hand is still
discard...
full.
Having to discard at least 3 cards from a quick glance. Yeah, I think 3. Yep. Yep. Gonna have to take 3 damage next turn anyways. But being able to deal 14. So, you know, it kind of... It evens out. Oh, no.
Oh.
That hurts.
It does not quite even out.
Double Stretcher. Going to be taking at least 6.
Yeah, the
Smite here
Gigantomachia
Yeah.
wiping out the big minions, leaving just the little ones behind, not going to put in too much damage now.
Yeah, the Smite here.
This is going to put Pulp to 1, I believe. So this is just likely game. The Gigantomachia taking out the Duskwing Angels essentially seals the deal.
Yep.
I don't see how Pulp can play out this much hand, and
Wonder Drug.
okay. Looking to gain a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be enough. And then you still have this issue now as well of this hand is still way too full. How do you deal with it?
Yeah, you know, Charmer's going to be just able to essentially just pass turn next turn and have Pulp lethal. So it's... But at the same time, we also don't know what any of those, like, 12 cards could be.
Yeah. You always have options when you hold the whole deck at one time.
Yeah.
So... And we do see the life gain again. Pulp going up a little bit at a time. A total gain of 8 has now happened. But we'll still see quite the loss when we hit the end step. And Pulp still has... What is this? 15 in hand, I think?
Yeah.
It's quite a bit.
And that honestly might be enough to...
So we will see damage come down 2 at a time. Is this going to bleed Pulp out yet?
Yes. Yeah, well.
Yeah, and that is
one down.
not the game.
Not game yet. Charmer.
Smite lethal.
Smite lethal.
And that is the game. That match has concluded with a 2-1. Pulp not quite able to stabilize in time. Took so much damage at the end of that game.
Yes, and we will be moving into round 4. We do have some facts and figures to go over as well. We will be giving you the most popular rares while we get everything organized, and then the most popular mythics as well. I do have Magmatar as the most popular rare this week, as Noah would say, giving everybody mad cow disease. Misanthropia, probably butchered that name.
Nope, that's fine.
Oh, thanks, buddy. The most successful board wipe this week, and then Extract Life as the third most popular rare. So, nice big stats. Let's go ahead and talk about him. I think Magmatar is a fantastic minion, and it does what it does effectively. How do you feel about these cards, Noah?
I feel we'll likely see maybe even the same lineup again next week. Each of these has its defined niche. It does what it does the best of any options that do it. And so I think we likely will see basically this same slide week to week. I think the values might change a little bit, and one might dip out one week but then come back. But I feel like when it comes to being as impactful as you can while still being a 2 of, this is essentially the peak of what we'll see. So I actually don't have too much to say about them, as it just feels like the best of the options and nothing too standout-ish about it.
Yeah, very true. And for the most played mythics of this week, we do have Magnus, obviously, Loki's Veil, and then Bragi Rune Singer. How do you feel about those? No.
So Magnus is holding its spot that it claimed last week as the most played mythic. not letting go. Loki's Veil we did not see last week, but it has jumped up to the 2 slot this week. And it was something that, as the week went on, I saw discussion pick up about Loki's Veil. And then to see that same discussion as people said, hey, look, Loki's Veil is a thing. To then see that also show up with it being the second most common of the mythics played this week, I think it was somewhat expected. I would have been playing Loki's Veil as well if I was playing this. I would have been playing all of these if I was playing this week. So,
yeah, and that's fair.
I think it's no shock to see the mono blue lineup in the mythics.
Yeah, you know, with Bragi, obviously, one of the better full-on cards. I mean, just does so many different things that just allow for different aspects of gameplay, different decisions. I think all of the cards that have abilities like this, multiple abilities, really fit into a unique deck, and Bragi's being played. So I would say he's probably one of the better ones. So let's go ahead. We are going to go to the featured slide section once again as we finalize everything for round 4. We will be back momentarily. We're going to be doing a giveaway again in the chat. Just a reminder, if you won today during the art contest or originally, you would be ineligible to redeem the same pack codes that we would be giving out, but we're working on it. So stick around. We will be back with finals for the Mythgard Weekly Open 1. All right, and let's get ready for our final round. Round 4. Players are able to jump into their games as well. And besides our featured players, obviously, we are going to be watching our 2 3-0s, which is going to be Endozoa. Ooh. And Koveras, Sunset mid-range versus Dire mid-range. How do we feel about it, Noah?
I am excited to see this matchup. Obviously, both have played well today, being able to make it to this final game, this final match undefeated. I think we've seen Endo twice now, and we have a good feeling about what Endo's deck does and how they win.
Yep.
This Sunset deck is appealing to me, though. I am excited to see just what they'll be able to do with a deck we haven't seen yet, I don't believe. I think they've managed to sneak in the undefeated without being spotted by us. So I think we'll get to see some situations we haven't seen yet, and that will be fun.
Yep, I'm excited. Well, let's get them going. And let's jump into it once they are ready. Yeah, I mean, I'm personally really excited. Sunset midrange, I was looking over to the deck list. I think it looks really good. We'll just see if who's going to be able to claim these 25 packs. And yes, there will be more giveaways at the end of the stream.
So those of you who have not won a pack yet, hang out, chat with us, and we should be able to get one last giveaway in.
Yep.
You can type !packs in the chat to get the info on that.
And we're going to see the burn of the wheel right away from Endo. Deciding that it's not worth keeping in hand just yet. Iron Flesh Performer coming down.
And we do see wheels in both of these lists. And at a quick glance, I think wheel might be the only enchantment in this sunset list. In which case, that could be why we see Endozoa give up on his wheel so soon and just go ahead and put it back in the deck, knowing he won't likely need it in this matchup.
Yeah, let's see. Muse coming down. Divination 3.
Now the Calliope Muse coming down to block Endo's attempt to take a look at this hand.
Yep.
Do we see the ignition follow-up is the question. Do we see the attack? Ignition would be good because then... Okay, so the minion does not get to hit and show us what all is in this hand. We do not see the ignition to follow. We most likely just see some mana gained and a smite and a pass. No, I lied yet again. So this is nice because this ignition cannot clean up this minion. We do see the Calliope Muse yet again, just looking to keep the constant onslaught of good top decks going.
And we are going to see the bolt from the blue come down. Be able
do we see the attack again? That's what I want to see. Yeah, so still no ignition likely in Endo's hand. But Endo's own Calliope Muse is going to hit the field now. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the Calliope Muse. Aimless Vessel. Aimless Vessel coming down, not able to attack yet as it's not next to a minion.
Yep.
But we will likely see one played next to it to open up its ability to attack.
Yeah, I mean, the downside of that card is not as bad as it seems. It has a really good upside.
Yeah,
The fact it's a 4/6.
Yeah, the stats at its cost offset the negative aspect of seeing no ability to attack without dependence on something else. We do see the Black and Jotun come down to the opposite side of the field. Endo's saying, I don't want to fight that quite yet, but I'm happy to make you come fight me on this side.
Yeah.
We do see the feast. And again, we see choosing not to gain mana until the feast has happened. This was something we discussed a little while ago. You want to keep options open as to what you actually put back. We do see a minion come down to open up this aimless vessel. That's going to get in, which means no mend will be happening, but the life gain doesn't mean much at this point, so that is totally fine. If I had to choose between the life gain and the attack with the aimless vessel in this situation, I would have made the exact same play.
Yeah, and I actually feel bad because I was talking a lot of trash earlier when I was quickly going over the color numbers, right? Orange is the least played of all of the colors right now. And I was saying compared to blue, which is the most played, you can tell by the power levels. I think I may have been very, very wrong about that. I think orange is just underplayed right now. I think it does have a very good. It does have a very. Oh.
I feel the same way, and we actually did see it pick up between last week and this week. So we did see that yes, it is still the least played, but it is gaining.
We saw
gaining some footing with these lists as we go week to week, and people have this competitive data to look back on and begin optimizing lists. We do see that it's picking up, and I think that will continue. I think we'll also be less likely to see as much blue moving on.
Yeah.
But I still think blue will be the most played.
Yeah.
At least the next couple events.
Yeah, just so people are able to build more of a collection. The temptation there. That's a hell of a card.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Magus is out. Life totals are fairly similar.
Yeah, still a good bit of game left to play. Nobody's looking to close out the game quite yet. Still in that mid-game stage, I believe. Now, this is when Aimless Vessel is at its best.
Yeah.
Is when you have two of them just kind of hugging it out.
Yeah. They're gonna elbow drop on him. That's insane.
Feast going back to the deck, Mend coming down, gaining a life, healing the vessel.
Yeah. And obviously
we do see the Magnus.
Duskwing Angel coming down. If we have a way to deal with that, it looks like might be game, but right now both of these boards are fairly even. If we can
I don't think I'd quite say that. I think Endo's field is at an advantageous state because the Duskwing Angel is split to the opposite side of the field as the Magnus. So had Endo chosen to play that Duskwing Angel on the opposite end, one minion would be able to potentially block both attacks, as we do see some high defensive units.
Temptation!
Okay, the Temptation is going to come down. Now, you will notice that the Duskwing Angel is upside down. That is intended. When you steal something, it will show upside down. Both Aimless Vessels putting in damage. Endo goes to 7.
Absolutely insane.
Now we see the Sunset deck looking to close out the game on all likelihood.
Yeah.
If Endo's holding a Cataclysm, now's the time. You have to chance it at that point, I think. Although I do like this.
You have to move. You have to block.
Yeah. If you don't have the Cataclysm, you have to move. I think I would have chanced going to 1 on the Cataclysm, since my opponent would not have Smite in that situation.
Yeah. And we're just gonna clear. Oh,
the Aimless
man.
Vessel again, and not having to play the minion yet to make it come online, because it wouldn't be able to make an attack.
Yeah.
Instead, able to mend, get these
Crimson Pact.
these Aimless Vessels healed up a bit.
Oh.
This was good. This will shut off
The Aimless Vessels.
now. If you move one Aimless Vessel to the inside and play a minion between them,
go.
yeah, this is also just as effective.
Yeah.
I was needlessly complicating it. That's why I'm casting and not playing.
Oh, don't worry, champ. We'll free up the seat one day, and you'll get to show them what you got. Man, a fantastic game from Koveras. I'm really excited for this game too. That was great.
I feel like of the games we've watched of Endo's today, this was the one that it actually felt like Endo didn't have much going on at any point of the game.
Yeah.
Like, we saw a little bit with the Magnus, but this felt like the game that Endo had the least, not dominant setup, but competent setup.
Yeah.
Endo didn't spend the whole game on a handful of options, and it showed as we do see the game 1 loss.
Yeah.
Which we'll be updating in just a moment.
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, it's obviously it's best of 3. We'll see if Koveras can close it out with a 2-0, or if we can get a game 3 out of this.
That would be nice as well. Having both of these decks come into this match undefeated, I definitely would like to see it go the distance.
Yeah.
So the Bolt is going to take out the Zealot. Damage goes in. Feast going back to the deck. Calliope Muse coming down. That's a good spot to be in. Calliope Muse likely, at this point, to put something of excellent value on the top of the deck, as we do see this Sunset deck have an awesome mid-game that we'll be getting into now. The Calliope Muse coming down to assist you in that feels good.
Yeah, very much so. Now, Lore Broker coming back down.
That has to be blocked, I feel.
Yeah.
I've been playing with it myself this week, and anytime I've gotten it off, and I've been almost cheating, if you will, by stunning my opponent's minions as well. So anytime you get to see that much info, even if it doesn't stay on the field, once it's made its hit,
yeah,
just the initial look at the hand can oftentimes let you know when to save a kill spell and when to go ahead and use one up.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That's useful info. Black and Jotun coming down on the left-hand side. Endo looking to split the opposition and not let these aimless vessels bunch up, because that's when they can do damage. Pact coming down, willing to take the 6th just to get the Jotun out of the way.
Yeah. It's burning the parry.
Okay.
To play the regular.
Moving in, the vessel will be able to make this block, so still hoping to conceal the info of what is in hand at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on what they
How do you feel about that, as opposed to letting them have the demise to pack the vessel and get the knowledge of the hand? I feel I would have actually
Yeah,
packed the vessel and taken a
yeah.
look at my opponent's hand in that situation.
I mean, it kind of depends, right? Like, looking at the list, seeing the list, I don't think there's anything that I really am dying to know, if you will. But I still probably would have done the same thing. I would have wanted to make sure. I would have wanted to check.
Bolt coming down to whittle away at this aimless vessel,
Yeah, you got to do something. I mean,
hoping to keep it down in pieces, if you will.
we got the ignition right there. If we have a way to remove that thing, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble for Endozoa. And that'll do it.
Yeah, this is looking like, outside of a cataclysm, Endo likely to not be in a position to extend this game. And we may see a 2-0. Endo still has a lot of options in hand, so we'll have to see. But it definitely is looking like backs against the wall. This is the time to make a play.
Yeah.
The ignition is going to clean up the aimless vessel in conjunction with the Magnus that has hit. Magnus looking to make the block on that aimless vessel and take it out as well.
Yeah.
So, Endo not out of this yet. The combination of we do see the 8 damage come down. The pact at this point, I would be okay with the damage if I'm looking to just win the game.
Yeah, and you have the frenzy on the side. You have to force some interaction.
You show lethal on both sides of the field now.
Yeah, there's...
Endo cannot cataclysm now as well.
Thunderclap.
Okay, this leaves the aimless vessel alone without a companion to let it attack. You just have to hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Calliope Muse looking to find some way to stay in this game.
Yeah. Oh, with the well played. Oh.
What do we have?
Fire Song Prodigy. And it is at
lethal
winter
damage.
Oh.
The season change, making this a 2-0. Endo in the finals of last week, and we see Endo going undefeated into the final match of this week, but ultimately losing it.
Oh, yeah.
We will be jumping onto a new game.
It
looks like Toon is playing, and I don't think we've shown them today, so let's go ahead and jump on with Toon.
We do have Toon and Burn playing.
These two, those of you who haven't followed the public chats too closely, these two have played so much this week. They've had countless times that I'll look into a chat and see the two of them talking about a game they've just finished. And so both of them definitely in a position that not only do they have the deck lists, but they know the matchup, each of them knowing what they have to do to win the game.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it looks like Toon has been doing most of the winning the game attempt.
If you will. Oh, boy. We still have a couple games that are going on right now. Toon is actually leading this 1-0. We're still waiting for some numbers from some other games.
We will also, it looks like we'll have it done to not show you with some nicely made images, but at least tell you some stats specific to the top 8 decks of this week.
Yep.
And we'll also be posting topping lists on MythDB sometime in the next few days. We will get those put up. In the meantime, you can type !decks in the chat and you will get a link to a Google document with all of the deck lists on them.
Mm-hmm.
We do see some healing coming down, looking to stabilize and not lose this game quite yet to Tune. We should also get an updated game count. That should help you out as well.
Yeah.
So we will look to do that.
Working on that.
Knowing the deck Tune is up against, I would not be shocked if this is indeed game 1. Oh, but I lied. It is 1-0 to Tune, looking to close it out with a 2-0.
Just trying to break through.
Yeah, looking to find that last little bit of damage, which can be pushed with Smite at this point, but it is a slow push thanks to that Men. Because the Smite essentially doing 1 instead of 2 means you have to be able to soak up 6 attack phases to push in this lethal off the Smite only.
Yeah.
Tune not likely in a position to need to do that quite yet, as they do still have not a full hand, but quite a few options in hand.
Yeah. And Bornigan coming down.
This could help.
Raid the tombs, yeah.
Now Tune has gotten back all of the mana and gems that they had spent, and then used just a little bit of it to pick up some hand advantage again, and look to continue to find options and plays to make. Which we see with the Demolition Speedway.
Ooh.
Going to go ahead and tack in, past the Yahui. Smite damage can go down to 1. Do we find a way to get the lethal?
No. No way to get the lethal. Can Burn find a way to gain the life?
Do we have any updates yet on any of the matches going on? Have we seen anyone post in that chat we have set up?
SmoothOperator and Kilimanjaro are 1-1. I'm not sure about Jock and SemperPie. Jakov just reported 0-2, so SemperPie has confirmed that.
Meanwhile, this is likely to go to 1-1, as we have seen that stabilization point.
Yeah.
In which
kind of hard.
This snake deck just does not gas out completely. And outside of some skillful top decking, if you will, I don't know that we see much of a way that Tune's able to actually close this game out. Not yet, at least. As the hand advantage has now swayed back against Tune, and we do see some life gain yet again. Just not going down into lethal, not looking to lose quite yet. Staying in the game, the Yahui coming down. This is a good position. Mend gaining a life, going up to 9.
Ooh.
And I'm being told by Tune that although we don't typically see the snake den on the end of the field, it was actually pushed that way as Tune slid all of the enchantments.
Ha! With marching orders?
Yes, this was not...
Oh, boy.
Not the intended line of play, but Tune had plans of his own, and we see the suboptimal placement of the enchantment because of that. But we do see Tune going to 2 life, Cataclysm coming in, and that is the game. That does make it 1-1. We will see the final game of this match.
Oh, fantastic.
I am also seeing that the latest giveaway was won by Maleficia, who also played today. So those of you who did win today,
on top of that,
we hope you enjoyed the giveaways and the stat sessions, the spotlighted images. We hope all of this has led to a pleasant viewing, and if you have any feedback about it, by all means, you can DM us anytime you want. We will listen. You can also join the Weekly Opens chat, in which you will know about upcoming events and be able just to talk with those of us that do get involved in this competitive scene, and hopefully get involved in it as well if you haven't yet.
Yep.
We have been given quite the showing of love by the devs who have helped us to put on these events.
I have feedback. I would like to not lose my only match of the night. Oh, Charmer. Koveras did win. Koveras is the 4-0. There was no top 8 this week due to the time placement and 16 people. It was going to be real weird with the top 8. So next week, while we're watching this match, now's a good time to go over it. We do have some announcements. We are opening it up. There's no more player cap, but in doing so, deck lists are going to be due the day prior, full about 24 hours before we actually begin. How do we get our giveaways? You guys message me or Noah. I believe I have the code, so just DM me on Discord. Just be like, hey, I won the giveaway, and I'll make sure you get a pack at the end of the stream. We will be doing an after stream after this, and me and Noah are going to be talking about stats, I think, as long as he has enough time after the final round. Pretty standard start by Tune. I mean, just kind of trying to whittle away with Valkyries.
Yes, and this is actually not a mono blue list, which we noticed last game, but it looks like, had we just walked in, it would look like it was indeed a mono blue Valks list, judging by Tune's gyms at this point. But this is actually a deck that's designed to kind of keep all of the opponent's plays in hand, keep the field clean, and just pick away as fast as you can with open attacks. It's a list that Tune has played to a 2-1 showing up to this point, and 1-1 in this final match. It's something they tested all week, and I've enjoyed watching the testing sessions. It's something I've done in my downtime. We do see the Avenging Alpha come out as a 6/6. That's big.
Yeah. Avenging Alpha is not a card to just kind of overlook.
No, it is not. So the Den goes back, choosing not to use one at this time. The Magnus comes down. Oh, if Tune has any way to out this Magnus, that feels so dissatisfying. A second bolt still puts the 6 damage in, and that... Oh, man. So we do not see it. The Avenging Alpha dies to the Magnus in combat, not able to push that bit of damage.
I mean, Bragi Runesinger, right? Like, the fact it has warded, fantastic. Draw a card, shuffle a card into your deck, fantastic. This card is all around good. I feel like we may see a nerf at some point, personally. Just based off of how good of a card I do believe it is.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I would say is a candidate to see some changes between now and launch. Definitely between now and launch. Possibly between now and open beta even. We'll have to see. Life total is still nice and high. Yahui coming down, saying, you have to attack me twice unless you have a damage spell.
Yeah.
Specifically Ice Spike. I have played Yahui a couple times, and any time I've played it, it's been Ice Spiked, and it is the most tilting thing of all time, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. can only imagine. Bragi is gonna say chase me. Valkyrie Enforcer is gonna block. Is gonna bounce the Hui. Demolition
And we do
Speedway.
see Demolition Speedway. 5 damage. Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, absolute. Big old Valk. Oh, the Thunderclap. The Hui coming back down. Forcing Tunestar to essentially draw a good way to remove it. Journey of Souls gets back. Scout. Avenging Alpha.
So we do see the Scout go back to hand. Avenging Alpha on the Demolition Speedway.
Yep.
And we do see it kept safe now. That's going to be an issue. How do you go about dealing with that?
I don't even know.
Pandemic comes down, that'll be the kill. And wow, that is a good way to deal with it.
Yeah. That
Giving Toon a taste of his own medicine, saying, you cannot keep that minion on the field,
Yeah.
but I'll let you pay to play it again.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Mind coming down, gaining a life, looking to close out the gap a little bit. Bolt coming down, Scout back to deck. Avenging Alpha, yet again, not done being played on this Avenging Speedway.
Let's see. There's... Avenging Alpha's either going to run over you, or you're going to have to remove it. That's where we're at.
Yeah, you have to have
You have
some
to
good
have
way to
something.
deal with it.
Yeah, you have to be able to do something. There's just...
I think Toon might be the only... Toon's list might be the only list this week that plays Avenging Alpha. But... Cataclysm is dealing with it. I was going to say, it's not looking like we see much of a good way to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cataclysm will do.
Yeah. Now, Road Queen coming down. All Valkyries get +1/+1. It's on Demolition Speedway. That's not where you really where you want to be. Bragi Runesinger coming down. Yahui
Next, the Yahui.
well. Yahui.
We will see it. Keep the Yahui safe and say, you cannot ice spike me. Which... that I'm glad to see it. Let's let the boy live a minute. Oh, but Toon's saying I don't need to ice spike you. I'll move you out of the way and hit you in the face anyway.
No.
All of the minions going to the left.
Yeah.
So now let's see. We shuffle back. Oh, the 6/6 coming down. Not to be taken lightly. That is a lot of stats. How does Toon deal with it?
Toon's gotta either speed it up or have some sort of...
This is what I like to see out of Toon's deck. This play... Oh, he didn't have it. Now that the 6/6 has been given the gift, if you will, of all of that candy we saw on it. Just a second. Should Toon find a way to put that 6/6 back in hand, it will not actually go to the hand. It will be gone. Its demise will not go off. It is just gone.
Yeah, you know, Ephemeral's one of those weird concepts that if you use Sweet Spinneret correctly, it's really impactful. We didn't see any sort of bounce, but I still feel like it's going to matter. But maybe not to the extent that Toon wanted. Rune of Denial.
That's solid. That gets
with
the
mend.
Speedway gone.
Yeah, that with the mend is fantastic.
Yes, it is. Avenging Alpha coming back, though. That could be big. We do see Toon decide to slam both minions and give up his field position to take out the opposition. We see the 6/6 Avenging Alpha on the end, staying out of the way of the Yahui. Had that minion gone one lane to the inside, Yahui could move one lane to it and actually make the block.
Oh!
6/6 to match coming down.
Another Harvester.
We likely see the Yahui attack. We'll see the mend. The question is, yeah, this is what I was going to say. Do you go ahead and also do this? And we will see it happen. Toon basically going to just have to give up the 6/6 on the attack.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do there. You can't
Smite to the face, I guess. Now Toon choosing to play on the inside like we talked about not doing last time. Yeah. I think this is hoping to see the Yahui move instead of attacking. Toon hoping that by showing an open attack, maybe the game plan will be to block that attack as opposed to continuing to push the damage. Yeah. I think we'll likely just see the Yahui attack into the face, but I think Toon hoping to just get it to move.
Yeah, no.
Not happening.
In that instance, with a Cataclysm.
And the lethal with the Cataclysm, taking it 2-1.
Burn has vanquished his enemy.
I believe that's actually how they've gone most of the time this week as well. Toon, at one point this week, was like 50-5-ish in testing, and almost all of those losses had been to this deck.
Oh,
so
man.
It's definitely something he knew coming into the week he was going to have to play against, and switch decks because of it. Yeah. We do see that it doesn't totally help, as Toon does fall 1-2 in what was a good matchup, though. I enjoyed watching it. I hope they both enjoyed playing it as much as you guys enjoyed also watching it with us.
Yeah, you know, it's been a fantastic event. I'm really excited everybody got to watch all 4 of these rounds. We are going to be going over some additional stats we have some people working on for us right now. But we do have some announcements for next week's event. We are going to be testing something out to accommodate our EU players. So I'm going to be posting the link in Twitch right now. This is uncapped, first of all. This is next week's Mythgard Weekly Open.
So come one, come all.
Yeah, it is set at 2 p.m. CDT, Central Time. Since we had daylight savings a couple days ago. It's no longer CST. So it is 5 hours earlier than the current event to hopefully fit in for EU players. We do understand that that does affect some Australian players, some New Zealand players as well. US players,
it's a balancing act, though.
Yeah, we're trying to accommodate as many people as we can. Now, since this is still an alpha game and an alpha tournament series, if you will, we're working on a way to try to figure out what's the best solution. Whether we do 1 week on for EU, 1 week on for Australia, New Zealand, but we don't want to like put people in those buckets, you know. We're trying to get all of that worked out.
And one of the best ways we can do that is people being vocal about it with us. Mm-hmm. Don't be shy about coming to us and saying, hey, I would have loved to play, but the time slot just didn't fit.
Yeah, let us know.
We will do what we can to accommodate as many people as we can in doing this. And if that means changing up the time slot once in a while just to get new blood into the scene, we can. But if we can find one time slot that is fitting enough that all who want to play can, independent of location, then hopefully we can make that happen as well.
Yeah, and you know, we want to be progressive here. We want to make sure that this is an all-around experience. That's why we do these graphics. That's why we do the featured stuff. We want this to be as efficient and as fantastic of an experience for the viewer, the players, as possible. I've been part of some bad tournaments before, playing other various card games for the last like 6 years, 7, 8 years or whatever, right? TOing some different card games. Me and Noah and I, rather, we want to work hard for you guys. We want this to be something where, we got to put time in, but it comes out to be this beautiful, wonderful event that you guys enjoy and look forward to playing every week. You know what I mean? And I'm speaking for Noah right now, but if you guys see the stuff that he does behind the scenes, you guys would be able to tell that too. All of this graphic stuff, he helps me with it. He teaches me it because that's his knowledge, man. We're working hard for you. So anything that you guys want to do feedback-wise, just let us know. But we do have some more stats to go over here.
Do we have any codes left? Can we do a giveaway again? How's it looking on a possible giveaway again as well?
Based off of the people that messaged me, I mean, we announced a bunch of winners, but a lot of people were just they already won, so they couldn't redeem it. So I have only really given out 3 codes at this point. People need to message me.
So in that case, it sounds like we could maybe give away a couple.
We're going to be giving away a couple. We're going to be giving away a couple, right?
Let's wait a couple minutes. We'll do it at the end of this stat segment. The way to get eligible on this code giveaway is to have typed in the chat within the last 5 minutes.
10.
So we'll do a 10 minutes. I lied.
10 minutes.
Again, I'm good at it. So we'll do a stat segment, and then at the end of that stat segment, we will close it out with a giveaway and move on to a few minutes of downtime, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back.
I mean, to be honest, we're going to be doing like an after stream. I'm going to be streaming Mythgard myself. I mean, casting it for the last 3 hours. I really want to test out some of these decks. I really want to play. So I'm going to be focusing on that. But I also do need to eat. The entire new room is set up. So you guys are going to be kind of helping me test lighting and stuff. But the new game room that we have moved into is set up. We did it specifically for this event because I think the sound is better in here. So can we win again, or is this for the people who haven't won? It is for the people who haven't won. If you've already won today, or during that art contest I had, or during the first one, if you're Tunestar technically, you can't win off the same list. I'll let you guys know when you guys can again. Why am I still awake? Welcome, Logic. Welcome. Great event, guys. Keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, Tune. So yeah, let's go over these stats.
We have stats specific to the decks that finished X1 today, which I believe was 5 of them?
Yes.
Yeah, we had 5 decks today finish at least X1. So this is a look at basically the equivalent of top cut stats in an event that we didn't actually do a top cut in.
Yep.
So we can look at stats specific to these decks.
Yeah. So we had Koveras, Endozoa, Charmer, Burn, and oh no, I'm gonna botch this
Maleficia?
name.
Maleficia?
Maleficia? Also, if I mispronounce your name, just let me know. Don't let me just keep mispronouncing it. I'll work on it. I'll figure it out. But yeah, we're kind of just going off the cuff here. So yeah, these decks, obviously you guys at least saw 1 game of them all, I believe. Summary, Ignition, the most played card out of all 5 of these decks. Next to Crimson Pact, Bolt from the Blue, and Magmatar. How do you feel about
Something
that?
else I want to double check.
Uh-huh.
I believe the cheapest of these X1 decks is the deck that stayed undefeated. But let me double check that. It does indeed look that way. So last week we saw the second place deck was actually the cheapest of all of the decks in the event in essence cost. This week, we see that although it was not the cheapest deck in the event as a whole, of all of the decks to finish at least X1, the only deck that went undefeated was the cheapest of those 5 at 7.75 thousand essence. So it is nice to see that you can get involved in this competitive scene and do well on the back of good play and good deck building that is not dependent on spending the most money to get into it.
Yep, 100%. And that's it's definitely a feels good thing. Like, nobody wants to play a game where you gotta dump X amount of money just to get into it. There's a bunch of different games like that, right? This game is young enough. The devs are great enough where if you're active, you're gonna be able to have a playable deck. I mean, it's pretty.
The weekly contests that give away packs.
Yeah, like and for Koveras to come in here and don't get me wrong, it's the essence cost now is great, but Koveras just won 25 packs to be able to improve this list, to be able to build a new list. Koveras just won 25 packs. The top 16, I'd have to check, but I think it was like over 80.
I believe
4 packs?
we had a total of 87 packs.
Yeah.
Going out to people who played this week.
Yeah.
That is on top of the packs we got to give away in the chat.
Yeah.
So definitely seeing. Let me see the essence cost of decks in game.
You
cannot.
But you can DM us any of these deck lists, and we have them. We have all of these graphics saved. I can send you the graphic if you need to, and it always has the essence cost there.
I can also post a sheet in the weekly online chat that you can use to calculate the total essence cost of a deck.
Yeah, we have the technology. The Rhino Games obviously watching this entire thing closely, hearing what you guys want. Don't be shy with your suggestions. Just, if it's obvious if they're going to be working on something. So, it's stuff that they want. Poetic already brought up the not being able to view the people's hands that you're spectating. They're working on it. They want it. How far in are we? Jeff, we are actually done. We've already gone through 4 rounds. There's no top 8. But yeah, Koveras swept 4-0.
But don't leave just yet, because we do have a pack giveaway coming up.
We do have some pack giveaway. We're gonna be hanging out, having some fun. Right now, we're talking some stats of this. I'll say it again. Noah, I mean, you're the stat guy. You're able to read this a lot better than me for what it means, I guess, for maybe just this 16-player tournament. But obviously, these things are going to be shaping the meta. I'm surprised we didn't really see a stretcher list. Dire stretcher.
We did. No, yeah,
Dire
we did not
stretcher.
see it with blue. We did see a yellow build pop up and
we did see Charmer's list
finish out that X1, so that was neat to see.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just so surprising that nobody would play the list that won last week.
I expected it to at least be played.
Yep.
And we did not see that. That could have to do with the size of the event as well.
Yeah,
but you did only have 16 people this time.
Yeah.
So going into next week with open slots, I think we may see some of that. But at the same time, I feel like this game is still evolving so fast as people do all of this testing that it may continue the next few weeks that we don't see decks winning multiple times, because it may have been the best deck last week, but somebody may have found a new cool combo this week that they've been able to utilize to take the win, and we don't see as much homogeny in the topping lists.
Yeah. And it's surprising to see what we would say is the alpha meta shape this fast. But I also think it's going to be really interesting when we get the new color, purple, at some point.
That should also help shake things up.
Seeing that shake things up on an already huge, 800 and something cards on an already huge playlist, on an already huge collection of cards is going to be insane. Adding more, I'm just excited.
With that, I think we should go ahead and do the giveaway and close this out. I need to step away. So I will go ahead and sign off. Thank you all so much. We hope you enjoyed this event. And this is not the most expensive list. One quick moment while I'm not gone yet. I have the stats pulled up. Pulp had the most expensive list this week with Spanish Love V2 clocking in at 27,000 plus essence.
There you guys go.
We can get that pulled up to show you.
Yeah, if you guys want something to... If this deck is expensive. No, this deck is expensive. Excuse you.
Yeah, Pulp was
Spanish
showing
Love
off the
V2.
money this week.
Yeah, Spanish Love was coming in hot and fast. So
it's been fun. I've loved casting with you. I'm going to step out. I will be back on at some point in a bit once we kind of have wound this down. Taking a few minutes, and then come back live again.
Sure.
So thank all of you that showed up. Thank you that played. And we hope to see you back next week.
All right. Talk to you soon, Noah. All right. Well, now you guys are just stuck with me. So we're going to be doing this giveaway, kind of just hanging out. How did you guys like the event? Beautiful. Yeah, this deck list. Oh, my God. You guys are funny. If now's your last time to chat, if you guys don't chat, then you guys don't get entered in this giveaway. It's not up to me. I can't choose, but the transition is the best part. Yeah, do you guys like that transition? Manted Man worked so hard for that transition. Dude's an icon. We're gonna be doing about 4 more of these clicks, so you guys have some time to chat real quick to try to win something. But yeah, Manted, you did a great job on that transition. I'm looking forward to getting the sound added on. But stream looked nice and slick. Yep. Well, time to get Monacat into the game. We're what? I'm going to buy a bunch of Mithril so I can win the most expensive deck art next week. Whoa. Yeah. So I guess we're just going to be re-giving that pack to somebody else if Monacat doesn't want it as well. She's just lurking here. Yeah, we're going to just keep giving this. It's not... Y'all understand I don't control this, right? It's literally... Nightbot giving these packs out to people who've talked in the last 10 minutes. Right now, there's only 3 people that can win, and I guess Logic's going to win a pack. So, someday, someone will want packs, yeah. Poetic, you already won. Yeah. So, all right, so... I do want to do a special shout out to our sponsor, inkedgaming.com. They're a company that I work really close with. Obviously, this is a Bersia thing, not a Team Rangstar thing, but I still work with Inked Gaming really closely. Go and check them out. So not only does this week's winner win 25 packs, but they are also going to be winning a $20 gift card to Ink Gaming to go check out that stuff. Where is that bad control deck? I hear it was really bad. Don't worry. Here you go. Tell you what, we'll do this. We'll do this for you guys. You guys go. We'll give everybody a little bit of time to show off their decks. Here you go. So, but yeah, go check out Ink Gaming. You guys can get a bunch of custom stuff. I have a really nice custom Team Rangstar mouse pad. It's like 18 inches. Kappa. It's really big and it fits up half my desk. So I really like using that. Where do we go from here? Yeah, your games, your style. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a minute to go grab some pizza that showed up about 3 hours ago. I'm going to get some food in me, and then we are going to be streaming more Mythgard. I think I'm just going to... What do we want to... Pizza? Was somebody playing Prasa tokens tonight? Just queued it twice in a row. Yeah. There's been a couple decks that were... No. Tokens, no. I wouldn't say tokens. But no. What are we going to be doing? So, like I said, I'm going to get some pizza, then I'm going to jump back on. You guys are going to help me, like, test out my lights and stuff, because... oh, damn. Yeah, let's go to the face one. Ooh, yeah, see, like, this stuff's like all messed up right now. So it doesn't like work at all. So we're gonna be looking at that, getting that all set up. But so yeah, we're gonna be doing that for you guys. And then we're just gonna hang out and play more Mythgard. I'll probably give more packs away. We'll do some of that art stuff. We're gonna be streaming for another couple hours. But let me go get some food. What do you guys want? You guys want me to just leave deck lists up? How do you guys want to do this? You guys want me to throw in the rerun of the first couple rounds for the people that jumped in late? Let's see. Let's do that. Let's throw in a rerun while I'm gone. Then I'll throw it on officially when I leave for the night as well. All right, so I will be right back in the next probably like 20, 25 minutes. Then we'll go from there. I will see you all soon. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, checking out this week's event. The link to next week's event is posted on signups under here. I'm going to also throw it up on the Mythgard Discord as well. But, yeah. So I'll be back shortly. Talk to you soon.